What's happening in San Diego? Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome back. Midday Hangers reporting for duty. It's Annie and Elsten with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're all back, reunited in our Odyssey studios, overlooking rainy, drizzly Murphy Canyon. Annie Halbrand's here. I'm Craig Elsten. Braden Suprenant alongside for 4 hours of live local San Diego sports audio entertainment in your ears and on your screens if you're watching on YouTube. What's going on, Annie?
Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Braden. Good morning, everybody listening. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. It is a rainy Wednesday, so be safe out there. But happy baseball season, everybody. Pitchers and catchers report. They are starting today. It's an exciting time.
Happy baseball season.
Can't be baseball season without rain.
Hope springs eternal. I wonder if the rain's going to move to Arizona.
It's usually a day or two behind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless
Now-
like the storm weekends or whatever, I guess. But
Unless the heat knocks it down.
Yeah, it didn't happen last weekend for the WM Phoenix Open. That thing stayed
Yeah, that's right.
pristine all the way through when we had our rainy day. Nonetheless, it's going to mess with Genesis.
it's messing with it today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Isn't
messing
today
with
supposed to be like the worst?
Yeah,
It's
but I
more
heard
like-
Thursday's bad too. That's
It's
what
more
I
like
heard.
spit
Yeah.
outside than anything else. It's not like it's like really coming down.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. Maybe they'll play through the rain tomorrow. Maybe they won't. But nonetheless, everybody stay safe. Got to echo what Annie's saying. And also what you heard Kelly Danick say all morning. Take 5 miles an hour off. Add 10 minutes
Yes.
to your itinerary. And, of course, it's 10 now, so no one's really running around the way
She was
they
funny
usually
last
are.
night.
She was.
At one point with the traffic, she's like, the traffic was so bad. She said, she was like, come on, people, the rain hasn't even started yet. Let's get going.
That's great.
We got to be better than this. We got the rain coming tomorrow, and this is how we're driving now?
I know. I appreciate her. She's got her finger on the pulse. She's like, get it together, San Diego.
Good to have a sense of humor.
The afternoon updates are funnier than the morning ones. She gets going on
The
that.
day is getting over. She's like
Yeah,
ready
exactly.
to wind it down.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time on the show.
Welcome back,
Caught
Braden.
the pieces that we did.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm glad I got to...
Tell us about working with Scraby. Tell us about
that was,
the show for 4 hours.
It was good. I've discovered why Gwen and Chris are on him all the time. He kind of brings it upon himself. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that you could just jump on that I decided not to because I'm a nice guy. I'm a fair guy.
Mm-hmm.
And people in the chat were like, "Why aren't you just like teeing off on him right now?" I'm like, he's kind of doing it to himself on a lot of different things. There would be some things where he would say something very self-deprecating, thinking that everybody was thinking that, and I would have to immediately respond with, "Nobody said that."
I'm going to talk with Scraby about this.
Nobody said that. We got to fix your confidence, my guy. We got to
I'm
fix
gonna
this
talk to
little
him about
bit. I
this.
think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should. I told the story about my buddy on that page, the Are We Dating the Same Guy page, and that that lit a fire under the chat, which was hilarious. Apparently, we all know somebody that was on there that used to work for us. That I won't say his name, but it was pretty funny hearing his reaction to it compared to my friend David's reaction to it. But it was good. It was good talking with Scraby. It's pretty funny, like doing Scraby's show. I ventured into Scrabistan, and then since there was no Scraby show yesterday,
Yes.
and he had the urge to do it,
He griped.
he did a daily gripe.
All
What was his
right.
gripe?
His gripe was actually something that I totally agreed with. His gripe was a ticket for like using a toll bridge in the Bay Area, in which it's one of those go online and pay.
Yeah, yeah.
And he went online and pay, and it wouldn't accept. Fine in the mail. Didn't pay your thing. That happened to me twice with the 73, and I went on a diatribe about how it's a scam. It's a scam.
One of my friends just got scammed. You know how you'll get like the little toll road message on your
that's
phone?
that's
She
an
had
actual
It was an
scam.
actual scam. She had to like cancel her cards and everything.
Oh,
and
no.
like change her bank thing and everything.
Mine's a government
'Cause she had
scam.
just
That's an
gone through
actual
the toll,
scam.
so she thought that it was like really the toll, and I'm like, oh man.
I went to the 73 I told the story last night on the Daily Gripes, and you know what? There was like 15 people in the chat that had the same thing happen to them. I don't know what's going on in Aliso Viejo, but there's something funny going on with the 73. You go through, right? And it's not like the 125 where you get off the freeway, you can scan your card and you pay
Right.
and it's done.
Right.
you have to go online.
You have to go on.
I
Which
just have
you're
a
like,
fast track.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't use it enough.
Yeah, they
I don't-
used to have people there. They
Right.
used to have people at the toll stations taking
Yeah.
your toll.
God forbid we pay for somebody to do that job. Anyway,
Right.
so now it's like go to
a real job.
mytolls.com or something like that.
Well, and it takes forever. You can't even reach. Like if you're trying to pay it with the card or whatever, like it gets so backed up.
I
'cause
would
it takes
rather do that.
forever to try to like get through. Wait,
I
you
would-
don't have the option to pay with the card?
No, you don't.
No,
you
you
have to
don't.
go
I didn't
online.
realize
No,
that.
no,
And
no,
so
no.
I went up there
Oh
and
no,
right,
that's bad.
and so I went on. You have 5 days.
I thought you meant you missed the payment.
No.
Oh, never
I
mind.
tried to pay. You have 5 days to pay without a fine.
Right.
It's like $7.
Right.
And so I go on my toll thing. The first time I
Ugh.
took the 73, and every time I put in my license plate, it doesn't exist. License plate doesn't exist. License plate doesn't exist. And I'm like, well, maybe it hasn't registered yet.
Right.
I did that for 5 straight freaking days. Doesn't exist.
It's a scam.
I continued to do it. Doesn't exist. I get a fine in the mail going, you forgot to pay your toll. Next time it's going to be $125. I'm like, that's BS because I've been trying to pay for the last 2 weeks.
How does it let you pay it once they send you the letter?
They send you the thing, and then you get a link, and then it's like, put in your license plate, and then I put it in the exact same way I did the last time. It's like, oh, there it is. Since it's the first time, we'll only have you pay $7. So I'm like, well, maybe that's just the deal. So I take the 73 later in the year. Go back up to whatever it was to bypass a lot of things. Same thing happens. Day 1, nothing. Day 2, doesn't exist. Day 3, doesn't exist. Day 4, doesn't exist. Day 5, doesn't exist. Fine in the mail. You owe $125 for not paying your toll road. And I'm like, this is a joke. I paid the $125 and I said, I will never again take the 73 and feed the scam that is running that toll road. Joke.
Let me
Total
tell you,
joke.
the one going to Chula Vista and Otay, the what is that?
Yeah,
125.
125.
Well, there's been many news reports about that toll, but that one, if you something happens and you didn't pay your toll, you get a letter in the mail that's like your $5 toll is now like $80 or whatever, but there's no phone number or link. Like you cannot get through to anyone. You cannot get through. You've got to go down to their office. You've got to sit there. You got to pull your ticket. You got to talk to someone who, by the way, they're very nice, but you can't get through. Nuh-uh. No one's going to answer that call. I'm telling you. So the tolls are something else.
I mean, I remember the last time that I went on it and we talked about it, and then I was right here on this laptop on this desk, and I paid it just like that. Don't know. So the scam is, in your mind, I just want to play through this conspiracy because it's veering toward conspiracy, but it also might be right. I don't know. So the scam is they deliberately withhold the license plate numbers within the payment system so that you can't pay.
Right.
Well, it would be more of a scam if you got a letter and it was like double the amount. It's really, I think that they just have a flawed system.
I've had 5 people text me in the last 5 minutes going, I had to also pay $125 because it wouldn't let me pay online.
See, that sucks.
The thing, if it was just me, like I have a custom license plate, so the first time through, I'm like, well, maybe the custom license plates are throwing this thing off. But the fact that so many people are like, I can't get this thing to work, I can't ever do it, and then they go like, they call, and then when they call, the people that I don't even know who they call, Sandag or whoever runs the deal up there, they go like,
Caltrans?
you know what they do? You know what they said? Sorry, that's our error, but it's still a fine. You still have to pay the fine. So it's like, what's the point? I might as well just not, unless they're just trying to get me to pay for fast tracks.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, sick.
Maybe they just don't know how to spell your name because your plate is kind of your name.
I know, but the funny part was the fine that I got with the license. I even copied what it was on the fine, going like, well, maybe I put it in wrong, and then I put it in. It was like it was one of the ones that popped down like, oh, like when they remember it.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, I already put this in. Yeah, I did put in the right one.
Oh my goodness.
Insane. Yeah. So the toll roads. That's
Toll roads.
And plus they're like $7. In Texas, it's like 50 cents to go on a toll road.
The toll roads suck.
The toll roads do suck. I don't mind the 125 because when I get off, scan the cards, $3. I'm done. It's
You
easy.
have to use it today.
So easy.
Student interview at Modern Day this afternoon.
But
Gotta
you know
use
what?
that
You don't
today.
have to pay online. You could just scan your
No,
little
you're
card.
right. Yeah, you can just throw the. Yeah.
Or you could be the guy that throws all the change in there at
Bang.
the same time,
I
and then the
love
one
it.
penny misses, and the guy's screwed.
Ah!
I've seen somebody do that before. That's hilarious. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but when you're sitting in line, and I know it's taking a long time, and you're irritated. You see the guy throw the change, and the quarter misses. Hilarious. The guy has to get out of the car. He's all disgruntled. looking for the quarter in the bushes. Everybody's honking at it. Come on, guy, get out of the way.
I know.
Hilarious.
Many times it's been as you said, you have to open up the car door.
Yeah.
Someone has to get out of there.
It like never works the first,
Never works.
second,
Yeah.
third, fourth
You got
time.
people like my mom, little short arms, can't reach.
Or like they're like, how do you use this? You know,
Because you don't want to get too close. You bang your door into the poles that protect
Right.
the money thing.
I fast track, man. Because I use it though. I use it. So.
I don't use it. See, like everybody was like, "Well, just get a fast tracks." I would use it twice a year. It'd be a waste of
I have
time.
a
I guess
family
the
member down
sticker. I guess the sticker's free. I guess you could get the free sticker.
Yeah. But you got to hook your account to like a credit card.
Yeah,
et
and
cetera.
and I'll forget to do it anyway,
Right,
and then
right.
I'll be like, I don't use this ever. Can you use the carpool lane with that deal?
I don't know.
Because don't they have like the carpool lane in the middle? Doesn't it have like a price for like the fast tracks deal?
Maybe.
Like if you pay for that, don't you get to use it?
Good question.
Like, do you have to carpool? I feel like what's the point of? Why would you ever pay? You just have somebody in your car.
William from the state has arrived in the chat. Says if you knew you had to pay and the online option wasn't working, why didn't you call? Why didn't you call the government, Brady?
Because everybody else called the government. They said, well, it's still a fine. You still got to pay it. It's the government, the bureaucracy, anti-bureaucracy.
I just appreciate that someone showed up to defend the bureaucracy.
Yeah, well done,
I appreciate
William.
that.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. Appreciate you out there.
she's not dating
standing
you,
up
bro.
standing up for the rule followers. Why didn't you call in?
Yeah. There's a saying where she's not whatever you, bro. She's not dating you, bro. The government's not dating you, bro. Move on.
The tolls are like the DMV. You know what I mean? Like
I actually, when I went to the DMV a couple weeks ago, that was actually that was the easiest thing
Are
I've
you
ever
gonna say that was
done.
fun?
It was flawless.
Oh, okay. It's like
I had no issues. It was the first time. I've never had any issues at the DMV. Just walked in. Here you go. Stamp. Go over there. Cool. Here's your picture. You'll have your real ID in the mail. Sweet. That was awesome.
Let's take our first time out. We'll come back and set up the rest of the show. We've got Sammy Levitt coming up. We got Ben's Aztecs tweets. A lot of spring training content for you. It's all still to come. Quick time out and we'll get it rolling. It's Annie and Elsten on the Fan. Hey, don't forget, the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest is your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. All you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour, and you'll earn your daily entry into this national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim plus $20,000 cash. So, you're listening to the show now or watching it. Consider routing your entertainment through the Odyssey app for an hour, and you will get a credit. You will get an entry every day. You get another one. Somebody's going to win. Someone out there in the wide Odyssey listening nation is going to take down the big prize. It's Annie and Elsten. Annie Halpern, Craig Elsten, Braden Suprenant, still thinking toll roads.
Tipping a toll road employee is insane.
That's above and beyond.
That's insane. That's what Tyler put in the chat. My parents take the toll roads in Florida all the time. When we visited, we had a convo on whether you should tip the toll workers
For their service
for
and bringing
them for
you
taking my money.
Bringing you their meal.
No, I think it's like a mailman thing. Like people that people used to go through tolls all the time, and you'd probably see the same
Mailman,
toll
the
person.
mailman brings you mail. Like
People tip. People
What am I
bring
tipping the guy
Christmas
for?
presents to like their mail person,
Christmas
or the UPS
present.
person.
Okay, tip.
it's drive through.
Like here's $3 and here's $1 for you for sitting there.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Once a year, you do something nice for the toll
Once
person.
a year.
For the
Once a
toll
year.
person.
Once a year. This is tipping. I mean, tipping's
You
different.
tip the tax man when he knocks on your door, the tax collector.
I mean, let's be honest. Tipping has gone too far. And this is what I mean by that. Not tipping your service worker. Tipping your service worker is outstanding. I recommend doing it all the time. Tipping the owner of a small business that's working hard for you, like, for example, the lovely bagel place I go, I shoot 20% on that thing every time because I know that las señoras están trabajando muy duro. You know, like they're really working hard over there. Yeah, exactly. Please take more of my money. But like,
Are you sure you don't want
like they're
$8?
pocketing your money.
yeah, but like at the local liquor store, if I go in and buy a bottle of wine, it's like, okay, here, would you like to tip me? For what? For stocking it?
My favorite, like, this is back before the tip culture got out of hand, was the self-service yogurt place where you do everything yourself and then you weigh it and then they had like a tip jar and you're just like, what did you
that.
do?
Sometimes I give them a tip though because they're like these cute little.
You're too nice, Annie. You're too
They're
nice.
these little high school dudes or chicks that are working there at the yogurt place,
That are
the Yogurt Express.
sitting there on their phone.
Yeah, what I don't like is when they only give you 25%. Like they start the options at like 20%. Like
Or custom. You have now entered custom. You know.
In order to get in the Sportsplex, you have to pay like $3 or whatever. That's like the fee to get in. You get a little token for you can get a free drink or something like that. That's just how they've been doing that forever. But it used to only be cash only, and then they put a credit card thing in there a couple years ago. And so naturally it has like a tip thing.
Yeah, tip.
For the person that's taking the $3 for the entry. And I'm not going to tip. I already have to pay an extra quarter to use a card instead of just paying the $3 in cash. But one time I asked the poor high school girl that was working there, I was like, let me ask you this. How many times do people actually tip for you just taking the $3? And she was like, honestly, more than you think. And I was like, this is insane. I can't believe you're she's just sitting there reading a book, collecting your $3 entry.
Hello.
Here's your free token.
Hey, thanks.
Here's your $3 token.
There you
free
go.
Token. Yeah, here's an extra $1
Here
for
you are.
you to sit there. Isn't that what the place is supposed to do? Pay for you, right? Is that how this works?
Tyler says, do you tip at Petco Park for concessions?
If I have to get the stuff myself, no.
But if they're giving it to me, yes.
Sure.
I think it's straightforward. It's a service. Now, I take it a little bit further than that. Okay, if I'm at the pizza stand at Petco, yeah, all they're doing is grabbing the slice from the little slidey down tray area and handing it to me. It's not, a labor of love. It's not outstanding service. However, they're working a you-know-what job. You know what I mean? Like, that job isn't great.
I agree.
So I don't mind a young, there's a young person there that's working probably way harder than the efficiency of the job would entail. And if I throw a little in there and it's going to them, cool. It's giving them a little bit better opportunity. But at the liquor store, no. At the toll road, hell no. No chance.
I used to get tips at Starbucks, and I was like, I don't know why we're getting tips here, but I guess it's a custom drink. I mean, I appreciated the tips, but at the same time, I was not expecting to get tipped. I was doing my job at Starbucks, but I could see why people do that. Let me ask you this: if you're gonna tip the toll road person, Annie, shouldn't we get tipped for entertaining people all year?
People try to tip us, but
Yeah,
it
it
goes
goes right to
to
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Straight to
And
Odyssey.
I don't think
You
you,
gotta
should
post your
tip the
Venmo.
random toll person, but if it's someone you're seeing like most
Every
days,
day. Hey, Steve.
throughout the year,
What if
why not do something nice?
as long as the guy's nice, right?
Yeah, if it's like someone that you're, hey, Mr. So-and-so.
If the guy talks to you every day, like, and you're like boys with the toll guy, I guess that'd be a nice thing to do. But if you just like give the money and he's just whatever.
I mean, and it is
Don't talk
true.
me into tipping a toll person. That's
No,
insane.
I don't think I don't
it's
think these are the
crazy.
days of that. I
It's
think those
absolutely
days were
crazy.
back
Send me your Venmo. No,
in
Tyler, I will not
other
accept.
times.
Yeah, and like the seaside market where you walk in and you grab the apple and you grab the beer and you grab the chips and then you just scan it.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about with the frozen yogurt.
No
Yeah.
tip. No tip
Yeah,
there.
I gotta,
no tip there.
That's the same.
No
like
chance.
you said, with Petco, right? If I got to go and do my own stuff,
Yeah,
and
no
they just ring it up,
chance.
I'm not giving you a tip. But if you
Absolutely
did
not.
sure.
And now, however, also Adam in the chat said, well, a lot of times the stands at Petco are manned by organizations raising money. Have we already forgotten that story? Or did it take just a year to
Big
forget
conspiracy story about that last year in Voice of San Diego.
that, in fact, many of them were scammers posing as charitable organizations and hiring people at ridiculously low wages to fill those stands? So, yes, kind of, but also really no, in a very major and scandalous way. So, maybe I'd leave that off the talking points for the yes on tipping all the time at the concession stand.
I definitely tip more at places that I go frequently, and they hook me up with stuff. Tip is higher.
Yeah, right. Straightforward things. Now, have I tipped at the Yogurt Express? Yes, I have. You know why? Because I only go there in the summer, just like probably a lot of people. Maybe some people are big winter yogurt imbibers. But I'm here to say that at the Elsten house, it's a hot night, let's go get some froyo type situation. And it's always the same kid, or at least it has been for like the last 3-4 years. And he's always kind of like funny trash talking, like just a little bit. Like he's always kind of teasing, like he's always anti-Padres. He's always like, oh, the Padres lose again. Because a lot of times I'd come in like after a game. I might have my Padres gear on or something like, oh, they lose again? How'd they do?
That kid ain't getting tipped. That's me.
No, but he's kind of funny. Like, so, after a while, I'm just going to throw in a tip for him because I know it's this kid, But obviously, I did my own yogurt. Like,
you do your own yogurt at Yogurt Express.
You just cleaned like the little tray or something.
What about takeout? That's always a difficult one.
I usually tip a few dollars on takeout.
But then, like the
I don't know.
takeout people, like when you don't tip like the same 20%, they get upset and they take a picture of it and go, "Oh, look, this guy sucks."
Ugh.
I've
seen that with I saw they tried to out Drew Brees a couple years ago for his takeout tip. He gave like a couple bucks, which is better than what most people do.
Yeah.
He physically drove and picked up his food. All they did was put it in the boxes for him. Does that deserve 20%?
No,
No,
it
but
doesn't.
if you're like these days, if you're a celebrity, it sucks for you because
Hey, you know what?
anything you tip is probably
better
unless
just
it's
tip.
like some outrageous thing.
Good thing
yeah.
you go by
You're
your
wealthy,
middle
just
name,
tip.
Annie. You don't have to worry about that. Some of us have to. Craig's got to worry about that.
Tipping, but it is out of control. Like you can't get through you can't pay with your card and get through the screen without being
Although
without
Craig-
them staring at you while you're.
Craig could go to a place and be like, "Oh, that Chris Ello guy,
your
he just
decision.
really doesn't tip very well."
there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At least half the time I'd get away with it, and Ella would take the bullet. That would be fine.
Craig
yeah,
Ellis,
that's
aren't you
fair.
on the mid? No. That's I'm Chris Ello.
Well, I'll say this one thing because one place that we always tip is at the bar, and it used to be very straightforward. If you pour me a beer, I give you $1.
Yeah.
If you make me a cocktail, I give you $2.
Isn't that what it still is?
It's 18%, 20%.
Oh.
It's usually popping. We've lost that moment of the cash tip. Just
I always
like
thought it was the dollar
throwing
thing,
the dollar
too.
bill underneath,
Yeah.
the spent pint glass or whatever. Tossing it out there, and instead it's kind of like 20. Well, now all of a sudden you poured me a beer, and I'm giving you like $2.20 or
Yeah.
something. For that. I think $1 was good.
No, Sushi Sam is right. There's so many screens I encounter that they start at 25. Like it's like 20, 25, 30 or 25, 30, 35.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I'm paying you more tip than I'm actually getting the item. You know what I mean?
How about custom? Where's custom?
If the service is the worst ever, do you still tip a minimum?
I haven't encountered that in a while, Braden. That's more of a theoretical argument. Than,
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
What's
I'd probably be
the
too
rule of
scared not
thumb?
to.
Like if I got,
I'd probably go as low as like now. You used to tip 15% all the time. Now it's like you tip 15%. You're slapping the guy in the face.
Right.
I think I did 10% one time when the guy was just. Honestly, one place that I used to go to all the time treated us like complete. You know what? One time, like the whole staff was just miserable that day. I don't know what happened, and I was like, "We're going 10 minimum, like or maximum."
Balsamic in the chat says, I tip my tattoo artist. You should definitely do that. All right.
would
That's a very
that as
custom
well.
thing.
That guy has a needle and can make your skin look ways that you don't want it if you,
Would probably
don't treat him
accidentally
right.
kill you too. The needle.
And I get it. If the service is bad, no tip. But how many times is the service truly bad, or how many times are you the one that's
I mean,
in a bad mood?
it's got to be awful.
Yeah. Are you really? What's your grading criteria for that bad, or are you really just looking for an excuse not
Don't
to
be an
tip?
ass. Just don't be an ass.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Hairstylist for sure, Jocelyn. Yep.
Well, we've managed to non-sports the first half hour.
Should we give the Aztecs a tip? We should. Do we need a tip, Ben,
Here's a tip.
for funding our?
Skip the first half.
That's right.
That would be the tip. First half, no good. Second half, maybe tune in. All right, when we come back, Ben's Aztec tweets, and we get into actual sports. San Diego State, they did it again. They did it again.
It's not helping them, though.
Yeah, they barely won against a bad team to hurt themselves while also winning. And we'll get into it all and all the angst that accompanied it with our beloved local TV host right after this on Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Back with you on Annie and Elsten. 10:36 is the time. Let's set up what's going on with the remainder of today's program as we roll till 2 o'clock. Gwen and Chris checking in. No Gwen all week. Tony's off all week long, but I do believe Chris is back today.
Chris
right?
is back from Vegas.
Okay.
They were at
Nice.
UNLV last night.
Yeah.
So the Chris and Scraby show is coming up from 2 to 6, and then Scraby solo from 6 to 7, and then Sam Levitt live from Peoria, 7 to 9 tonight with Inside San Diego Baseball. Sam is at his first full day at Padres spring training. Today is the first day of pitchers and catchers, quote unquote, reporting. It's not the way it was in the 70s and the 80s. Almost the entire team is there. Generally, the guys who aren't there, including the full squad, are usually guys who have to come from overseas. You know, people who have been spending time in a foreign country, and then they come back, and those guys will often get to you on a due date. You know, maybe show up on Monday or whatnot. But other than that, just about everybody these days is at spring training. First day of, in fact, 5 days before the first day of pitchers and catchers reporting.
Yeah, I mean, most position players are going to be in there before the first full day of spring training. So they'll trickle in, and there's no requirement. I mean, they've got wives, kids, other things going on. So when they get there, they get there. But typically, they're there before the first day.
So we're already starting to get some little nuggets coming out. AJ Cassavell just had a nice tweet that got me excited, Annie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt Waldron expecting to throw more knuckleballs this season than the 40% usage he had last season.
More knuckle.
And I see the 97.3 The Fan social media, or Twitter, just put his interview up. So maybe we can play that later in the show with Matt Waldron. But look, if you're Matt Waldron and you heard that Joe Musgrove, and he heard, said that this guy just needs to have better confidence. We're behind him. We think he can do this. He just has to believe he can do this. And coming off of the year he had last year, that should be, and I'm sure is, great motivation for Matt Waldron to go ahead and just believe in himself and believe in his stuff.
Coming up in our baseball hour at 11, we're going to go survey style, not meaning we're picking A, B, or C, but like in the academic survey style where you skim over the top.
Are we surveying the 100 people, our 100 studio audience?
Well, we have to do that during the commercial breaks for Friday's Fast Money. By the way, hi to all you out there. Thank you for making it.
Well, there they are.
Appreciate you. I mean, they just want to get out of the rain.
That's right. That's
Mostly.
Yes.
Cup of coffee.
We had to turn people away today.
Understandably so. Nonetheless. Anyways, in our 11 a.m. hour, we will take a quick survey through at least what I put together, and you guys can tell me if you wanted to add something to the list, what I think are the 6 biggest areas of storyline, like areas of not concern, but things that you're going to pay attention to over the course of the next 7 weeks. And, MLB spring training, working our way toward opening day. We'll do that at 11. In there is naturally 4th and 5th starter. Maybe we can throw some Matt Waldron sound in there as we go. Also, Mike Shilt will be talking to the press for the first of many daily get-togethers here in 2025 and specifically in Peoria. So coming up after the 12 o'clock Sports Fix today around 12:20, we will return year 2 of the Daily Shilt. And we will give you what Mike Shilt had to say today, and we'll probably break it down, and we'll chit-chat through it, and we'll do that every weekday as we go forward until they break camp in Peoria. Also still to come on the program, we will have, of course, as mentioned, the 12 o'clock Sports Fix. Today is Match Game Wednesday, so we will assemble the all-star panel for our silly game. We'll play Match Game, and we'll give you an opportunity to try and qualify for the end-of-month drawing for a Las Vegas trip and tickets to see Motley Crue. And then Sam Levitt joins us at 1 o'clock. So right now he's doing the information and content gathering stage, and then he'll join us when it's all cooked up. And we'll get the chance to chat to him at 1 o'clock, and that should be a ton of fun. So a lot of good stuff to get to on today's program as we roll between here and 12 o'clock. I think the show will accelerate hour by hour as we go. But now it's time for our newest segment here on Annie and Elsten, Ben's Aztec Tweets. I almost feel bad, Braden, in that the first time we tried to get this rolling, the Aztecs played a nondescript, simple win on a Saturday. Ben didn't tweet at all.
That's right.
We came in. We were disappointed in him. We said, you need to tweet.
Come on, man.
We don't care.
You got to fuel our show's content.
Exactly.
Not yours.
You need to do your job.
Yeah.
And then we mused
Do
that.
your job.
Right. Do your job. And then we mused at the time, well, maybe we just need more exciting, angst creating, anxiety producing Aztecs games, because that really is when Ben is singing. Online is when he is just filled with that anxiety and rage, all mixed up in a red and black cocktail. So ever since then, honestly, ever since we had that conversation, guys, the Aztecs have been playing this exact game over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, down. That first half was brutal. I tuned in about 5 minutes into that first half and watched and was like, I didn't look. Sorry, Aztecs. I thought this one, they were just so flat that they were not going to be able to come back in that second half. But really, really tough first half. Come back in that second half. They were down 17 coming out of the half. They scored 17 to tie it up in the first 4 minutes, which let's hope we learn about whatever was said in the locker room at some point through the UT or wherever. But yeah, and then from there it was a pretty good game. I mean, it was back and forth. The Spartans were down, I believe, their two biggest shooters, right? Their two main shooters.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that says, like to your guys' point about how they're going to view this win, they being the committee or the Ken Palms or the rankings. But yeah, it was a thriller, but the Aztecs pulled it off.
They look like UCSD for the 3-point line in the first half.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable. Then
Yeah.
they finished 33% from three.
Yeah.
And the Aztecs finished way worse than that.
They started 0 for 11 from the 3-point line and then made 4 in the second half.
The comebacks are so exciting that we remember we went through this with the Padres. It's like, okay, you're a gritty team. You're a team that's never say die. You're a team that will always come back and never stop fighting. But in my opinion, in sports generally, players and coaches know it's mostly unsustainable. Like you can do that, but so many times before it kind of kicks you in the teeth, when you don't have like a cleaner game all around. So
especially against bad teams.
Yeah, it's great for the Aztecs to be able to get the win, and it says something about their team and their program. But I think it's going to be hard to do.
San Jose State's not even close to being a good
Continuing
team.
on.
San Jose State is a bad team.
They're bad.
Yeah.
They're not
You're
good.
not going to be able to do that really in the tournament.
And
Like
this San Diego State team looks drastically different than the one that beat Creighton and beat Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But they always do that. They're a young team. They live up to they play up to their competition and they play down to their competition. They play with their food too much. I mean, there's only so many times you can play with your food before it bites you back in the second half. And they were legitimately 20 minutes away from getting eliminated from the NCAA tournament with a loss to San Jose State.
And now they have another must-win on Saturday.
Against a pretty decent Boise State team that they already beat on the road. But knowing the Aztecs, it's like you can't play with your food. It'd be nice for them to go out there and just kick somebody's ass with the talent that they have.
Braden, do we know the metric updates after the game? Have those popped out? Because
Warren
here's
Nolan's
the thing.
got their updated stuff.
In a pre-algorithmic world, these struggly wins would just be something that we'd be concerned trolling.
And then be wins.
Right, and then Brian Dutcher would be saying just win, baby, or they don't care, they don't say how, they say how many,
just like
or all those old things.
Right, like in baseball, there's no rankings. You win, you win.
Right, but there are rankings here.
Net doesn't get updated instantly, but the RPI does. Aztecs have jumped 4 spots in the RPI.
Jumped 4 to what?
45.
Like 45, okay.
But I did look last night. They were showing the bubble, and they were showing the last teams in and the first teams out, and the team that had the worst net ranking or RPI ranking was San Diego State out of the group.
Yeah,
and everybody else's was way higher. And again, they do have another chance. They're going to have to beat Utah State at Utah State for a quad 1 win to just give them some breathing room. But they don't have as many opportunities. They only have 2 opportunities from here on out to get a good quality wins. New Mexico at home, who might be a quad 1 win, but probably not, and Utah State on the road. You got a quad 2 opportunity with Boise State here on Saturday, but there's not as many opportunities for them compared to the teams they're competing with for the final 4 spots in the NCAA tournament. UCF, one of those teams, they got smoked last night by Iowa State, so that's a positive. There's probably some more impact games we can get to for the Aztecs, but they're sitting at 45 in the RPI, which is one of the metrics that they use on top of net. And in the net rankings, again, that hasn't been updated. That won't get updated till next week. They are 53rd in the net rankings.
Now, Scoutmaster Rich in the chat said they dropped one. They dropped from 52 to 53. But is that last week's results that's showing up? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is this. In this new Brave world, these wins, these close wins where they are losing to bad teams badly and then come back and miss their projection, essentially miss the spread, but pick up the win while missing the spread, these are all adding up for San Diego State. And the one, Braden, you were on the afternoon show, but when we previewed the show yesterday, the game, and talked about it with Paulie, but Annie and I as well later in the show, I said, this is a 10 toes down game. And what I mean by that is getting your feet back underneath you. The Aztecs have been in scramble mode for 3-4 weeks. They're always getting knocked down in the ring and having to scramble and get back. I needed them to get their feet underneath them so they could make a jump upwards and start to feel that confidence again. Well, it didn't happen last night. Great 17-0 run. Cool. Wonderful. Good news. However, you were down 17 to a San Jose State team missing their top 2 players. That's just not a place that you're building a tournament resume from. Even though you come back, it's not. These are hurting you. And the only encouragement I really have as a fan is they do have that ability to burst. They have that ability to go on an 18-0 or a 17-0 run and to do it on the road and to do it in the second half on the road. They have the mental resiliency that they are likely going to need in elimination games a few weeks from now. Because honestly, Annie, I think that's what they're going to be playing a few weeks from now is a bunch of elimination games.
Yeah, and I think that's a silver lining in this. Is they're a team that, again, knows that they're never out of it, that they have the ability and the resilience to be able to come back whenever they're down, and they've got the fight, they've got the effort. So those are all great characteristics of a team, and it speaks again to the program and to the team and to the athletes. But it's you still got a ways to go, and you got to keep your head above the water.
All right, what did Ben have to tweet?
Tonight, with the impact games, just want to update, they will lose points in the RPI regardless.
Okay.
Because if New Mexico wins against Wyoming, which they should, they only get 1.7 points, and they lose 4.3 for the Wyoming losing. And then Duke is not losing to Cal. But if Cal beats Duke, you could go up in the rankings, but that's probably not going to happen. Duke's like almost a 30-point favorite against Cal at home. But if you look at the RPI and the teams around them, Georgia, Indiana, VCU, Ohio State, Vanderbilt, these are all teams that are relatively mediocre in big conferences.
The Aztecs' style of play is what I don't mean their emphasis on defense and getting steals. I mean the way they're playing, falling behind, shooting badly, scrambling, eking out wins against teams with losing records. I get it. Sushi Sam says no such thing as a bad win in February and March in the Mountain West.
I 100% disagree with Sam's statement.
I do too.
You're in the Mountain West, dude. You're not in a big conference.
Not me, Sam.
You win. If you got to destroy these teams, you're going to get left out. That's the fact of the matter. This whole archaic, Chris Ello tweeted that last night. No such thing as a bad. There are. In college athletics, there's a ranking system. You're hosed. You're going to play yourself out by messing around with bad teams. You get no credit for winning last night. All you go is, I can't believe you barely survived a lousy San Jose State team. That's what the committee's going to say.
Missing 2 of their best guys.
I can literally hear in my ears right now Jay Billis on Selection Sunday when they're talking to the commissioner and they're like, why were these teams the last 4 out? Right. Why did this team miss the cut? And hearing them say, well, San Diego State, a great program. Unfortunately, second half of the conference season, really a struggling performance. The arrow was pointing the wrong direction.
Right.
They weren't building momentum. They wound up finishing 5th in their conference. They didn't win the conference tournament. And the Sun Belt delivered an unexpected champion, and so-and-so delivered an unexpected champion, and that wound up easing the Aztecs out to be a top seed in the NIT if they want to take it.
They're going to be like, why is Arkansas in and not San Diego State? Well, Arkansas beat Kentucky on the road recently in conference play. San Diego State struggled with San Jose State. You're not going to get any credit for those games. And as much as you beat Houston and Creighton, great. That's at the beginning of the season. I've seen how this works. They're going to be like, well, that was then. This is now. The way they're playing now, we don't really see it. Let's get Let's get one of the bigger conference schools back in there where we can make a lot more money.
Well, next chance to get your feet down underneath you, to stop scrambling, to put a truly solid performance together, and to build confidence as a team and as a unit is Saturday night against Boise State. It's going to be a sold-out crowd. It's going to be a big-time atmosphere, but the Aztecs need to rise to the occasion and come out and take an 18-5 lead instead of finding themselves behind by some crazy amount. And if they can do that, it's not going to necessarily change their tournament picture, but it will change their playing picture. And I think that's the biggest point I'm trying to drive home in this is, yeah, the tournament picture is what it is. They're either going to get lucky and sneak in or they're not if they don't win the conference tournament. But they need to play better. If they start playing better, then that will lead them to a lot better circumstance if they just play well. Right now, they are playing like a team that's going to get left out.
Yeah, they'll take care of everything.
100%. You have to play. Just because you win doesn't mean it's like the greatest thing. You have to play better. This is not professional sports. Mm-hmm. You have to win with some style points against lousy teams. Ben Higgins last night. Hilarious. Waiting to join San Diego State game in progress where the Spartans are shooting 100% from three-point range. The Aztecs are shooting 0 from three-point range.
Yep.
I remember when the Aztecs committed goaltending on a shot that had no chance of going in, and they still called goaltending. Can't make threes, can't make free throws, can't make dunks. Shots don't work.
Shots just not working.
I added that part, but shots don't work. I can honestly say this might be the worst half of basketball I've ever seen from San Diego State, followed by the tweet of, and I remember the 9-point half at Wyoming.
Bringing up receipts.
12 turnovers, over 13 from three-point range in the first half. I'm done tweeting for the night, even if they make another absurd comeback. And just after halftime, he comes back beyond absurd. 17-point run for the Aztecs to start the second half. Another escape act by the Houdinis of hoops, San Diego State.
Houdinis of hoops.
That's 100% what they are. The Houdinis
Love it.
of hoops.
Good job, Ben.
I like that part. Yeah, hey, I really hope the Aztecs can find that finishing kick. And if they do, then the tournament committee might say, oh, look at how they played in their last 6 games down the stretch. Look at how they played in the tournament. They got to the final. Oh, well, they got upset in the final, but we can still find a way to put them in as an at-large.
I get it's hard to win conference games in college athletics. It's hard to win road conference games, but the problem is when you're in the Mountain West, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt compared to the schools in the ACC and the Big 12 and the SEC. That works if you're Arkansas in the SEC. That doesn't work if you're San Diego State in the Mountain West because most people are asleep when you tip off, and they're not going to give you the best. They're going to look at San Jose State. They're going to be like, "This team's lousy. Their best two players didn't play, and you beat them by whatever it was, and you were down 17 at halftime." You're not getting a nod of confidence from the committee on those games.
By the way, you probably aren't surprised by this. I totally forgot about it.
You're like my sister. You got to call her and let her know, hey, turn on the TV.
Yeah.
It's time to watch such and such.
Yeah. I mean,
you missed like the first 8 minutes of the game anyway because you had to watch Dan Hurley yell at the fans.
Yeah,
but you didn't catch on in the second half. Usually I'll forget and then I'll see Twitter going on and no.
That's what deleting Twitter has done for me. It's just to avoid maybe that particular warning.
That's right.
However, complete miss and then wake up this morning with big shocked face emoji. What? Baseball
Eating your omelet, wondering what happened.
Yep. Baseball next. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. You can do it. Danny and Elsten, and it is our 11 a.m. hour. It's the baseball hour. Soon to be renamed. We could almost start today.
Well, it is the pitchers and catchers reporting.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it the Padres deep dive hour? I mean, we're talking Padres.
Sure.
How deep we getting there?
We're diving deep. Well, it's a survey today, so floating over the surface, but still. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Might as well.
Padres Deep Dive Hour, first one of 2025. Here we go.
So you get started, the sooner you can get it sponsored, Craig. You know, we got to make money at this place.
It's a great point.
Good call. You know,
Brought to you by?
Thinking for the sales staff right now.
Brought to you by Could Be You. Consider supporting the Padres Deep Dive Hour today. Okay.
Today.
Here's what we've got going on in this hour of programming. It's the day that officially the media reports to spring training. I think that's really the better way to put it. The players have already been there.
The media gets to start tweeting and writing and talking and all that good stuff.
So that has begun today. Our Sammy Levitt is Johnny on the spot, or Sammy on the spot. He is creating content.
Sam, not John. Come on now.
Yeah, fair enough. He is creating content. That content is being filtered through our 97.3 The Fan Twitter page and Instagram and whatnot. We'll be bringing you some of those sounds, and if you're on YouTube sites, over the course of the rest of the show. And then Sammy will join us live himself at 1 o'clock, and we will encapsulate all of it. But this morning, what I thought about, kind of inspired by both Dennis Lynn's piece yesterday, Annie, and then AC's piece today, was to say, okay, I'm not going to just follow their prompt lines. I just sat down, clear mind, quiet room, in the house this morning, and I said, all right, what are the storylines, like kind of front to bottom, what are the storylines that I can think of that we're going to pay attention to over the course of the next 6 weeks? Shall we dig in? And then please add, subtract, edit, move, anything you'd like. Boom, blow it up if you need to. Here's what I thought was the number one storyline for the 2025 spring training. Number one storyline, stability amidst uncertainty. For the first time in 5 spring trainings, the Padres get to have a full, normal spring training. No trip to Korea, no World Baseball Classic, no lockout, no COVID. Those are all the things that had happened the previous 4 springs. This time, first time in a long time, everyone's there, everyone's chill, no one's disappearing to some, Team Japan camp or Team Dominican Republic camp in a week or two, and everything will take place in Arizona, straightforward, until they finally pack up and head home. That's something for years, Annie, we have said should count for something for the Padres, and they do get it this year. Yeah,
I think that's going to be huge for continuity. It's been a lot for them. The spring training and the trips and the WBC and COVID and everything. I mean, it's just kind of not allowed you to have your normal schedule and even your normal ramp up. So this time, there's no excuses for your routine. Your routine is wide open for you to set and make sure you hit all of those milestones by the end of spring training.
So on that basic level of schedule, understanding where you're going to be, there's a great stability to this year's spring training. You could even go further and say there hasn't been a lot of turnover on the team, other than some players leaving. That's a handful of players, but the core of this team, as we know, for a long time shall remain intact. So you've got that stability. That's coming back. You've got a manager coming back for his second year. You've got a coaching staff coming back for their second year as a unit together. All of these things should lead to familiarity, should lead to more efficiency, should allow players to be able to explore areas they're trying to improve over the course of the spring. All of this should be a good thing. But when we say it, we also have to acknowledge that while the inside the clubhouse, inside the schedule, inside the guy who's creating the spring training schedule, while that is stable, the things above that are obviously not stable right now. We won't hear from a control person on Friday like we normally would with the San Diego Padres, or at the latest, the first day of full team reporting?
Well, it's usually the first week of full team reporting. It might be the first day or the first week. I would imagine if you hear from someone, it'll be next week. I don't think John Seiler can talk until he is actually control person. It puts him at too much of a liability from what I understand. So you might get Katsenda and Grupner, you might get Grupner, you might get no one, and they wait until John Seiler can talk. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, but that's something that we're normally used to getting that we're not going to get until much later in the month. And the other thing, as a result, that we have uncertainty about is, where is the number really? Where is the Padres budget number really? What has A.J. Preller been told? You must finish the year here, or you must start the year here. Are we over our skis? Are we at a spot right now where we are required to make a trade? Or is it more of, hey, AJ, see if you can make a trade, but if you don't get the value back, we're cool. We'll take on the little bit of the extra financial hit, and we'll see how the season plays out. We don't know, because we're not going to hear from Padres leadership on these issues. And as a result, I would imagine, Annie, that for Dylan Cease, Luis Arraez, Robert Suarez, Michael King, Jake Cronenworth, maybe to some very, very low extent, Xander Bogaerts, there are Eggy Rosario, Terso Ornelas, there's a series of players that are probably in camp wondering if they're going to stay in camp.
No doubt about it. And if you're Dylan Cease, you'll get asked about it repeatedly. And he does a good job of being honest about it. He was at FanFest, but you're thinking, when's that call going to come? When is AJ Preller going to walk up to me? When is someone going to tell me I need to go see AJ in the office? Or when are you going to see it on Twitter, right? Like when is someone going to notify you, hey, the MLB Network is talking about your trade? Dylan Cease got traded last year in the middle of spring training from the White Sox. If it happens again, he's been used to it. Maybe the Padres won't have to, but it could be Robert Suarez, could be any of those guys you mentioned.
So that's what I think is the number one storyline, is stability yet uncertainty for the Padres camp. How do they manage it? Here's how they manage it. You heard us say it at FanFest. You heard the players say it themselves. They control what they can control. And veteran players, and we've got a lot of veteran players, Annie, they know you control what you control, and you leave all the rest of the stuff up for the C-suite to figure out on their own.
Control the controllables.
It's still unsettling. I mean, I think players will, when they're honest, will say it's unsettling. I mean, it's never a comfortable feeling. But yeah, exactly. What else can you do?
Nothing else you can do. Which brings me to storyline number 2. And here's the great news for San Diego Padres fans. This is going to be a storyline for a number of years to come. It's called star status. We've got superstars on the San Diego Padres. Are they going to superstar this year and help lead this team to great heights? Let's think about it. How about Manny Machado? Manny Machado is coming back from an offseason where everything was cool. First time in a couple of years that Manny Machado was able to go through a fully healthy offseason, do his full winter routine. He's not coming back from elbow surgery like he did in 2024, and he's not heading into elbow surgery like he was in 2023 when he gritted through an injury, kind of a pain-filled, if not injury-filled season until he finally shut it down in the last week of the year. If we are set to get another one of those top 5 MVP type Manny Machado years, I would suggest this would be a good year for it. And not in terms of we need it, we always need it, but in terms of it's lining up well for Manny Machado to have a good year.
I think that when you look at the left field situation and you look at any of these low-cost signings, like the $1 million for Jason Hayward, the $1 million for Connor Joe, whoever's going to be, the catcher position, et cetera, while it's true, obviously you want production and you hope that some of those guys have an over and beyond, like above expectation year, this is on the superstars, as it is most years. I mean, this is on the guys that are being paid really well and have long-term contracts. They are the ones that need to at least perform to expectation or what their career numbers are. If you go above it, great. If you get 1 or 2 guys that have elite performances this year, amazing. That puts the Padres in a great position, but it puts the pressure on these guys, and rightfully so, to pick up the slack of whatever holes there are in the roster. You really can't blame $1 million guy for that.
That's right.
But not that you wouldn't blame, but this is kind of where you're at. I mean, you've got and those superstars need to perform to superstar level or better.
So I put Manny at the top of the list because to me, I always put Manny at the top of the list. But the guy right behind him, of course, is Fernando Tatis Jr. We were talking about this during a timeout, how MLB is running through they're digging through the content they need to for the MLB Network. One of the things they've been doing in afternoons is the top 100 players right now. And the Padres had, I think, Manny 29th and Jackson 25th, which is interesting, and Tatis 22nd. And, the question is, are there 21 players in baseball better than Fernando? Probably not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But definitely not if he's right. If he's right and ready and primed, he goes from 22nd to like second, or third or fourth or first. He could be anywhere up there because he's got that type of ability. Is this the year when it finally is a smooth path for Fernando? Every year, the last 4 years, there's been something in his way. One of those years, it was something of his own creation. That must be acknowledged. However, before that, it was shoulder surgery. After that, it was wrist surgery. And after that, it was a stress reaction in his femur. Is this the year? Because if he's fully healthy, locked, loaded, age 25, that could be an MVP season.
Yeah, I hope that he's able to sustain health. And that is, I see Prolific in the chat saying Machado, Xander, Tatis, Arise. They're all healthy, and that makes you optimistic. And I agree with that. And so now the key is you've got to stay healthy, right? Like you've got to hope that the injuries don't come, the injury bug doesn't come and take you out for weeks or months at a time. Hard to get through the season without some kind of injury or nagging thing, but hopefully they can remain on the field for the bulk of the time. For Fernando, he feels the best he ever has, or since his 21 season or whatnot. So that's a good sign. He has a lot to prove still. He's got the swagger of Fernando of old, but a little more wisdom now in what's going on and the role that he plays. So I'm hoping for a really great year from Fernando.
Let's take a time out. When we come back, some of the rest of the superstars the Padres are going to rely on, and then the next wave gets their opportunity to try and shine in Peoria this spring. We're going through the key storylines that we're going to be following all spring long, and we're back with more of it on the Deep Dive Hour, Padres Deep Dive Hour. It's Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Did you know you can listen to 97.3 The Fan with your smart speaker? Now you do. Ask your device to play 97.3 The Fan and give it a shot. Padres Deep Dive Hour is back with you. First one in 2025. It's Annie and Elsten here. Annie Halbin, Craig Elsten, Braden Suprenant. Going through the big stories that will be inevitably covered throughout the spring. In fact, each one of these little buckets that I've put together, I imagine we'll do a full hour on them going forward. That's what deep dives are all about. But today we're kind of skimming the surface. What are the things we're covering? We talked about stability but uncertainty at spring training, and we started to talk through star status. Manny and Fernando. Xander Bogaerts, I think, is front of mind for all Padre fans, Annie. Can he put a 4-WAR season, a 5-WAR season up and kind of create that star status that's been lagging a little bit his first 2 years?
Yeah, this goes back to the superstars, the big contract guys needing to play up to their expectations or the reasons they were signed. Xander is the biggest one. Xander is the big one. I mean, he's got to be more like Boston Xander and or more like even closer to the first year he was with the Padres and even better maybe than what he was able to do in that year. A little bit more consistency, I think, they need from him. So he's a big question mark. And because you have those vulnerabilities in the rest of the roster, you just can't afford to really have any of these guys slump for too long. I mean, you're going to have down spots in the season. It's inevitable. But for too long, you can't go on.
The good news of the Padres is that when we talk about superstars in the team, we can go 6 deep in this particular bucket. Manny, Fernando, Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill listed as the 25th best player in baseball in the MLB Network rankings, whatever you take that for. Take it for what you will, but what he has in store for 2025, I think we talked earlier about being one of the biggest X factors for this year. Is it a step up? Is it the same? Or is it a step backwards like we've seen from many sophomores?
Yeah, you know from Jackson Merrill that he hears it. You know he hears the talk of like second year, there's always a slump, or there's often a slump with big players who had a good first year. I don't know. I mean, my money's on Jackson's going to be able to make it. Jackson's going to be an anomaly in this stat that says that second-year players kind of have to take a turn for the worst. I think he's aware of it. I think that you can't focus on it too much, or it's going to mess with your mind. You're going to essentially will it into existence. So, if you're him, you've got to be able to be open to adjustments, but also not make adjustments if you feel like you're just getting a little out of whack. Not be desperate, I guess is what I want to say. You got to have that balance.
And you always got to be trying to make yourself better, and I know that he will be trying to do that because the league is going to adjust to him.
For sure.
And as we broke down last week, one of the things they're going to do is they're going to try and induce him to chase, and they're going to try and induce him to chase up and in, where he had the least success of any quadrant of the strike zone. So will he be able to lay off that pitch? Will he be able to hammer that pitch? Or is this going to be something that baseball teams can exploit? We'll find out. But what's in store for Jackson is part of the star status.
Yeah, and what's in store is probably a spot at the top of the lineup.
Yeah.
So how does he respond to that? How do pitchers respond to him there, to your point? So, it'll be fun to watch him, though. Hopefully.
Last on this list are the 2 aces of the team. Dylan Cease and Michael King are both going into their free agent walk years. Do the Padres get the benefit of 2 guys looking to capitalize on the market and putting their best foot forward in 2025? If they do, if Dylan Cease gives you a top 5 Cy Young season, King gives you a top 5 Cy Young season, obviously that's going to overcome some of the depth issues that the Padres have elsewhere.
I don't know exactly. I mean, usually guys in their walk year try to put together their best years. It doesn't always work that way. I mean, you just never know with injuries. You just never know when something's going to kind of weigh on a guy, and they just don't have a good year. So I think your money's on Michael King and Dylan Cease to have excellent years. If they both remain with the Padres, I think that gives your rotation a fighting chance. We're just seeing reports come out of spring training that they are going to stretch out Stephen Kolek to be part of the rotation, or at least to contend for a spot in the rotation. So again, you're going to look at the bottom of this rotation with a big question mark. You're going to need the top of the rotation to perform pretty well for most of the season.
I would predict to you that Stephen Kolek will be stretched out over the course of the spring. Will pitch a number of those split squad days where he's with the B team, the guys going out on the road and getting starts, and then he'll be assigned to El Paso at the beginning of the year to be a member of their starting rotation and hopefully build up that durability, the endurance, the experience. And yeah, it's tough to pitch in AAA, but if you can at least hold your own down there, then you can come up to the big leagues, and it feels even easier for you going from El Paso to San Diego. So I'm really wishing Stephen Kolek the best of luck in that regard.
Yeah, and you're right. Money in the chat. Changing your thought process, your mindset from relieving to starting is a deal. We saw Michael King go through it last year, but that's the good thing. You have guys on your roster that you can lean on for that advice.
Yeah, and you don't have to put him in as your fifth starter right now. So that's the good news for Stephen Kolek. Okay, stability amidst uncertainty. Star status. How do the superstars shine bright this year?
Shine like a diamond.
Here's my next category. Youth rising. Got two guys we're talking about here. Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries are both in big league camp. I saw Leo's locker is right next to Xander Bogaerts.
In between Xander and Jason Hayward.
Gotta like that.
Yes.
Two seasoned vets.
That's literally one of the best lockers you could ever have. You have two really great guys on either side of you.
So that's for a reason. And Ethan Salas being in big league camp, he's there for a reason. And these kids, especially in the first 3 weeks of spring training, I think, Annie, you're going to see him in the second half of games all the time. You're going to see Salas in as catcher in the 6th or the 7th, and maybe some games the 5th or the 4th all the time. You're going to see Leo DeVries in there as the third guy in. You know, the starter starts, gets 2 at-bats, then the backup comes in, he gets an at-bat, and then it's going to be Leo closing out games a lot. How do they respond to that first true big league spring training? Have they grown in the off season? What do you see in spring that's different from the winter and the previous summer? This is going to be not only fascinating, but really important for the future of the team.
And this, if you're Leo Dallas DeVries, you're just like a sponge. You are just a sponge trying to absorb as much as you can from the guys around you. Watching, observing, asking questions. Like, you just want to gain as much as you can from this process in terms of learning and watching big leaguers go about their business. That's really what you want to do, and knowing that you'll have a chance to emulate some of that in the future.
And it'll lead to a big question. Where do these guys start the season? I would suspect that DeVries, who played at Lake Elsinore last year, will start the year at Fort Wayne. But what if he had a massive spring? What if he had just a rock and roll spring where he hit over 300 and he was hitting bombs both sides of the plate and like really impressing? Could he start at San Antonio? Could they move him to Double-A? What about Salas? Does he suffer the quote-unquote indignity of repeating Fort Wayne this year at the beginning, or do they give him the promotion and they let him start the year at Double-A? He didn't hit well enough to hit his way out of Fort Wayne last year, but they feel like they fixed things at the end of the year. They corrected some issues with his swing. He hit well in AFL. So wherever they start is important to me because it's telling you where the Padres think they will finish the year is a rung or two higher.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to those, but yeah, exactly. I mean, that'll be interesting to watch. And again, their development is going to be at their own speed. We can put timetables on it, but it just doesn't mean that they're all going to move at that pace. So whether or not Leo moves faster or Ethan moves faster or whatever, like the big thing is allowing them to develop, not rushing it if you don't have to.
Right. But I do remember 2023, Jackson Merrill getting a lot of play during spring training. And then, of course, he went, from there, high A to Double-A, and had enough success that obviously the next spring he was able to break onto this team and to feel comfortable doing that. I think if they have the right kind of gains, that's what this spring is for Salas and DeVries.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
So those are your first 3 categories. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we come back, the long segment of the Padres Deep Dive Hour, back of the rotation, position battles, players trying to fight their way into the big leagues, and what's going on the fringes of the bullpen. Big stories that'll be covered all spring long. We'll take a survey look at all of those when we return. Plus, you'll hear from Matt Waldron about his thoughts in the opening day of spring training as we continue with the Padres Deep Dive Hour on The Fan. Don't forget about the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest. It's your shot at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. All you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log into it, and then listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least an hour. And if you do, you earn your daily entry into this national contest. The grand prize is a trip for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino travel and accommodations. That's Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus $20,000 cash. Just a couple weeks left in the drawing. So get in there, listen for an hour, and get your daily entry.
Get in there.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing, now that I'm done with the ad, the thing known as March Madness, that's not far away. What is it, like 4 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
First week's
Something
usually starts on my birthday. On the 20th.
On purpose? Is that why they said it?
No, it's just usually when it is.
Oh, okay.
The first weekend is usually the anywhere between like St. Patrick's Day through like my birthday is usually the beginning of March Madness. When's Selection Sunday? Let's see. March 16th, Selection Sunday.
Okay.
Ooh.
First 4, March 18th and 19th. First round, 20th and 21st.
5
Second
weeks
round,
It's coming
22
though.
and 23rd.
5 weeks away. It's
Some
coming.
great locations to play at.
Hopefully one I'll be traveling to for UC San Diego.
Here's your options, Craig. Lexington, Providence.
Oh.
Lexington's not. Kentucky's beautiful. You ever been to Kentucky?
I haven't.
Yes,
It's beautiful.
I have.
Kentucky's beautiful. Do you like bourbon?
I do.
You know what? That's not a bad destination for UCSD then.
Okay.
Providence, Rhode Island. Yeah.
Terrible.
Seattle. Yeah, it's all right.
Outstanding.
Wichita. No thanks.
No.
Cleveland. I can't say I've never been to Cleveland.
I have.
Been to Cleveland.
I know
It's all
somebody
right.
that used to live in Cleveland when he used to work for the Browns. He said it's not as bad as what people think.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all right.
Fun times in Cleveland today. It's
It's Cleveland.
Cleveland.
I know.
Denver.
Yeah.
Ball
fine.
Arena. Ball Arena's cool.
Yeah, Ball Arena's good.
Milwaukee. I heard Milwaukee's a great city.
You know, now that you bring up the dates, I'm starting to get nervous because the Wave season opener is Saturday the 22nd of March. And that could be
Well,
Problematic.
a UCSD second round game.
depends where you end up. Some of these locations are the 20th and some of them are the 21st.
Also, if I was actually following through with my vow and my swear and I'm out there,
You'd have to fly back.
then I'd have to fly back, and if they had won, that would stink. So now
Just continue your journey to the next location. Your sojourn.
but then I missed the Wave match.
Oh,
And it's the first match of the year. You don't want to miss the first
Can you
one
call
of the
it
year.
from afar, remotely?
No, you can't call it from afar remotely.
I don't know. After COVID, I feel like we could do that.
Right, like just have
The
someone
PA?
live
Yeah.
showing you the field.
All you got to do is hook up the
Hot no to that one.
Zoom to your.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
What could possibly go
What
wrong?
could possibly go wrong?
Last city in the first round is Raleigh, North Carolina. The cities that are the 21st and 23rd, which skip the 22nd, would be Milwaukee, Raleigh, Cleveland, Seattle. The ones of the 20th and the 22nd would be Lexington, Providence, Wichita, Denver.
I would be the ultimate nut in the universe if we, meaning UCSD, got a Friday, Sunday, and I flew out there, watched them on a Friday, flew back Saturday morning, called the Wave match, flew back Sunday morning, tried to see the second round match. I doubt that'll be happening, but
That only works if you
Seattle,
are in
basically.
Seattle.
Yeah.
For Seattle specifically, it could be done.
Well, you'll get a lot of miles on Alaska Airlines.
Yeah, well, or steal all of my dad's miles on
True.
Alaska Island.
Hey, yeah. Hey.
I could do that.
Now we're on.
Not
to
steal,
something.
he's giving them away. He's giving them
Very
away.
nice.
Not to you, only to me.
If they make it past that, Newark, San Francisco, Atlanta, Indianapolis.
Hey, let's dare to dream big.
That's right. I was about to say, dream big.
One team's on the rise around here. The Tritons. The Trident is rising. Wait, it's
They don't do that.
it's this,
they
right?
do the,
It's
yeah,
that?
That's the.
That's it.
Yeah, that's. Can you stop going up and down like that?
Why?
Following Montoya over here.
Fine. Whatever. That's all. I accept. Hand up. But not a Triton hand, or else I'd get a
Like
second.
Arizona State's the one that goes up and down. With
Yeah, oh, no, okay. All right. All right. Wrapping up our survey of key storylines for spring training. with a reminder that Sammy Levitt will join us live at 1 o'clock. We get to one that I think is obvious and pressing on the minds of many nervous San Diego Padres fans, which is what happens when you get past Cease King Darvish. What happens with the rest of the rotation? Well, right now you'd pencil that out with Matt Waldron as well as Randy Vasquez. Matt Waldron spoke to the press today, including our beloved spring training Sammy, discussing the thought about committing more to the knuckleball, something that he threw about 40% of the time last year. But you might remember there were sometimes he threw it like 12 times in the game. There were other times he threw it 60 times in the game. Here's what Matt had to say this morning about his state of mind and state of knuckleball heading into 2025. It looks like there's multiple posts there, isn't there?
They have multiple, and then they're all playing at once behind the scenes, and can't have that.
Nope.
And they were just.
And then we got more sound from the NCAA tournament website, because God forbid we can go to a website without playing an ad.
Oh, yeah.
Always fun. Wait, hang on a second.
Here we go.
There we go. A lot of moving parts to the video show.
Understood.
Spring training, knowing that there was an open spot on the rotation, it was that competition from the outset.
Yeah.
Sort of a similar situation this year. How do you feel like going through what you went through last spring training might help you this time around in sort of a similar spot?
Right, yeah. I think just, it is healthy competition with your teammates. And like I said last year, I think my plan was just to try and make it hard for them and not to want to have to use me, but just you have to be the best option. It's the only way you can look at it. Is just you got to be the best, the next man up, and just, run with it from there. And so that's going to be the goal this spring training.
Without going into too many details of how many knuckleballs you're going to throw, the specifics of that, what is the impetus behind kind of wanting to increase that usage?
What is the emphasis behind it?
Yeah, behind wanting to increase the usage of the knuckleball.
I just look at some of my best games last year with the Phillies, Guardians, and those are two off the top of my head. But I just really relied on those pitches, and I felt like it kept them off balance. And and I think the intent on it might have wavered a little bit back, and I feel like I just want to really emphasize throwing it hard and more consistently throughout the entire game. And
with the arm slot, is that purposely getting it higher this year, or just not letting it drop?
yeah, it's more of not letting it drop, and it's not necessarily a lazy thing, but it's hard to repeat if you change it every time. So just throwing every pitch. It sounds so obvious, but it's when you make 1,000 pitches a year, it's pretty easy to let some things waver sometimes.
Really good insight there from Matt Waldron. And if you think it's easy to repeat your delivery and do things exactly the same way every time, then you've probably never played golf before and tried to swing the same swing every time and realized how incredibly difficult that is.
And then as the season wears on and the fatigue your arm has, and it's tough.
But I love what I'm hearing there in terms of, really multiple things. Make yourself an impossible option to let go. That's exactly right. Sure. Throw the knuckleball with more conviction. But he also said, and I think it's important, Annie, throw it hard. Mm-hmm. He found success throwing a harder knuckleball than most knuckleballers ever try. If you go back and look, at a Candiotti or, Charlie Huff or even a Necro, they usually floated that ball up there, 72, 74 miles an hour. Waldron would throw it 81, 82, and it would take weird, funny dives as a result. And those were the pitches he had the most success with last year.
Yeah, it's probably why it's so hard for a hitter to identify and be able to hit that. I mean, that's where he has to lean into, because we heard that he talks to a lot of former knuckleballers, and everybody's a little bit different. And this is his strength, is like you said, throwing it a little bit harder and leaning on it more. So he's got to kind of lean into that and trust that. And then the question will also be who's going to be catching him most of the time, right? But we'll learn that more as camp goes on.
And the answer will be Elias Diaz.
Yeah,
I would think
so. I would think it'll be Diaz.
Campy tried to fight that thing to a draw, and he was losing. He was falling on his hip trying to catch the ball, and it was a strike in the zone. So, it's got to be Diaz. So that's Matt Waldron. Matt Waldron's got an important spot on this team. He was very, very good for 4 months last year, and then for a month he was really not good. and then they sent him to AAA, and then he, essentially wasn't a part of the team's playoff run. And so it's very easy to dismiss Matt Waldron and say, yesterday's news, forget about it, never mind, he's no good. But if you're doing that, you're skipping 100-plus innings of really quality baseball that Matt Waldron threw last year.
This is going to be a big test for him. For if the rotation stays the way it is, and you're leaning on Matt Waldron or Randy Vasquez to round out your rotation, or even as depth pieces, like there's going to be a different kind of pressure this year. But he went through some of that last year when they had to lean on him when Joe and you were out. So he's used to it, and now it's a matter of can you do that more consistently and throughout the entire season if they need it.
Then you get to Randy Vasquez. Randy Vasquez, who we saw in that clip, his locker's right next to Matt Waldron's, which is right next to Ryan Burgert, which is right next to Stephen Kolek. All these guys kind of know their role on the team. They're all fighting for basically 2 rotation spots. And for Randy Vasquez specifically, it's really straightforward, Annie. The question is, has he developed either a new pitch or a new location or a new something that allows him to get left-handed batters out?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him. Ruben Niebla gave him an assignment at the end of the season or got with him at some point in the offseason and said, this is where we want you to work. This is really what we want you to emphasize. So do that, and then we'll worry about the rest in spring training. I thought he did a great job last year. He needs to take the next step up now. And again, in a rotation that might really need to rely on him. But I liked his attitude last year. Him and Ruben have a great relationship. He was very good about receiving critiques. This is a pitcher who wants to get better. And we saw him pushing cars up the hill in the offseason. So that can only mean good things.
Can it?
I'm gonna go with that only means good things.
Is there a 1-to-1 relationship between pushing cars up hills and improving your changeup?
How big was the car?
Was it a
Like an
Yugo?
SUV. It looked like.
Was the parking brake on?
Did they take everything out of the car?
Right. How much was it weighed down?
Did it have an engine in it or not?
Is there an engine in the car? All interesting questions that Randy Vasquez could answer, but should probably not. Yeah, if Vasquez gets out lefties, great. If Vasquez can't get out lefties, he's never going to be more than a 7th starter in Major League Baseball. Last year, he danced through a number of situations that I wouldn't be confident that if he was presented with all of those same situations again with bases loaded and that he's going to be able to dance out of that every time. So it's again, to me, it's very straightforward. If he can't do that, then he becomes a reliever because then you could just line him up against right-handers and let him go to work. I don't want to see that. I want to see Randy Vasquez step into a 150-inning role, get a little bit more balanced. And if he can do that, he can be a huge part of this rotation for 5 years.
And you might be able to, as we talked about last year, you might be able to, swap these guys in and out as they're needing to rest their arms for, maybe a month or so or a few weeks or whatever it is. You can then move the next guy in as your 5th starter and then kind of keep rotating that if you need to. That's probably the hope that everybody is having as much success during those hot streaks as they can. But that might be an option here if this is kind of the way they're going.
Well, these are the guys that are lined up for 4 and 5. Waldron and Vasquez are lined up for 4 and 5. And unless they underperform, get injured, or something radical happens.
Or Stephen Kolek pushes one of them out.
How good would he have to pitch this spring to do that? 18 scoreless innings? I mean, it would probably have to be something really radical for one of those 2 guys not to be in the first turn through the starting rotation. But the next 2 guys up are critical because the next 2 guys up are guaranteed to start at some point during the year. And maybe, remember, Vasquez was one of those guys last year. He was a next guy up. He wasn't the 5th starter. He started 25 games for the Padres last year. It was 20 or 25. He's started almost a full season's load. So which one of these guys is going to wind up starting 15 or 20 or 25 games for the Padres this year? Is it Johnny Brito? Johnny Brito was maybe, depending on who you read last winter, Annie, some people put Brito ahead of Vasquez.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, performance didn't play that way.
He struggled. He struggled with his command. He struggled with the Padres. So, you're hoping kind of the change of scenery maybe was part of that and having a full off season under your belt, full spring training, all that good stuff. Although he had spring training last year. Working with Ruben Niebla for another season is beneficial for him.
Yeah, well, and he needs improvement. I think the Padres would like him to start opening day for El Paso and build into confidence as a starting pitcher so that the next time they call on him, he's able to answer that bell and rock and roll. Last year, they started the year with Johnny Brito pitching the 8th inning for them out of the bullpen. That worked really poorly.
Yeah.
It was an immediate fail for Brito, and he was out of that role right away. And then Kolek had a chance at it, and then a bunch of guys had a chance at it before Estrada finally grabbed it and grabbed hold. He is an interesting character. Was this just a miss on a depth piece, or can he actually be useful? 2025 is the year to find out.
And that's the thing. You heard A.J. Preller say at FanFest that he needs another arm or two. So perhaps, you don't see one of these guys. They stay in AAA, or they're just used as needed and then go back to AAA because he gets another arm on the market or through a trade, another arm or two to round out the rotation. So that's what's going to be, we don't know, obviously.
Next up beyond that is probably Stephen Kolek, who they announced today is going to stretch out to be a starter. Next up after that is probably Ryan Bergert, who is one of the only, quote-unquote, prospect class starters in the entire San Diego system above low A or even rookie ball. Mm-hmm. So Bergert is probably the 8th starter on this team right now. And then you wonder about somebody like a Juan Nunez that's coming from Baltimore as a Rule 5. There's no way they'd put him in the starting rotation to begin the year. They have to keep him on the team, so you assume he'd be the last reliever.
I would think so.
Yeah, but does he have that kind of skill? Is there anyone else in the system that can help? And then the last question I have, we kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday, but can the Padres afford to go out of system, get a veteran starter, someone that you could pencil in 150, 160, 170 innings pitched, a la a Kyle Gibson, or trading for a Stroman, or one of those level of pitchers? Can they even afford to do that this year? Or are they cash strapped to the point that they cannot? I think it's a big, big question.
Yeah, I think it's more likely. I guess it seems like it would be more ideal for this team if you're going to make a trade and you have to trade Robert Suarez. As much as I hate to see him go and it stinks to lose him, I think you can maybe afford that a little better than you can afford what's going on in your starting rotation now. Question is, how do other teams view Robert Suarez? Who needs him? What's the return that you're going to get back? Do they have pieces that you can use? All that good stuff has to come into place.
So I would say those are the 4 biggest storylines that are confronting the Padres going into spring training. Now, because we've only got 3 minutes left in the segment, we can kick a couple back into tomorrow and talk more about it. Obviously, there's some big-time position battles for this team. There's also a lot of players that are in on non-roster invites that theoretically have a chance with the right spring, the right combination of variables falling into place to try and make this team and make a run at it. Oscar Gonzalez coming from the Cleveland organization. Jonathan Perlaza is a player that some folks have had some nice, prospecty write-ups about. What about Campy? What about Gavin Sheets? What about Terso Ornelas? What about Eggy Rosario? These are young guys that you're probably not going to pay a ton of attention to it. You're probably not going to read a ton about them. But for those players, Andy, 2025 is the spring training of their lives.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the coolest things about spring training are the bubble guys and who makes the team, who surprises you. Jorge Alfaro was one. There's been so many throughout the years, but just who is kind of the guy that, nobody maybe expects to make the team, but he's on the bubble, So there's always a few of them, and the Padres maybe are in a position to utilize at least 1 or 2 of them this year.
And the question that's asked in the chat, is there a blockbuster trade coming to land another Cease caliber pitcher coming this spring? No. No. I mean, are the Padres going to trade Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries?
Who would be the pitcher?
Yeah. Remember what they gave up last year? They gave up Drew Thorpe, who they had just acquired from the Yankees, who was a minor league pitcher of the year, plus Jairo Iriarte, who was one of their top 20 prospects at the time, Steven Wilson, a big league reliever, and Sammy Zavala, an outfield prospect. We don't have that package to trade. this year. We just don't. We did it last year. Cupboard's empty.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the creativity of AJ Preller, what he's going to do, and I don't see him really going to the minor league system on this one. It just doesn't seem like there's, like you said, anything there, or anything that's going to get you the return that you want. At least I think that that's something he would do next year. But that kind of leaves you with big leaguers to be traded, unless there's something that we just overlooking, which is certainly possible.
Yeah, and I don't think. We've got one player on the team that we could trade to get an ace starting pitcher. That's Fernando Tatis Jr., and we're not trading him. Like, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. So even if you traded Dylan Cease, you wouldn't get 2 years of an ace control starting pitcher back. Mm-hmm. You'd be getting minor league players back, or players that are major league ready, that are ready to come up to contribute to your major league team, but were minor leaguers a year before. Like, that's what you're going to get in a trade this year. If you trade any big league pieces, you're going to get stuff akin to that. You're not going to get another ace coming back. Mm-hmm. Like, just, sorry, I wish it could be, but maybe a year from now. Maybe a year from now, Boston Bateman had an incredible year, and Cash Mayfield had an incredible year, and Kavaris Tears had an incredible year, and they shoot up prospect lists.
Right.
And then next year you can trade them.
But it's not this year.
No.
Unless you're moving Salas or DeVries.
This year is take the cell phone and plug it in. We're recharging the battery. The battery is our minor league system, and it's red right now. We need to get it back to green. All right, that's it. Padres Deep Dive Hour. We're back with the 12 o'clock Sports Fix next on The Fan. Brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving gourmet tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. Now open at the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park, as well as Sorrento Valley. It is the midpoint of our broadcast week, 12 o'clock on Wednesday. It's the Andy and Elsten Show. Annie Halbrun, Craig Elsten, Braden Suprenant.
Remember, we're off Monday, too.
I know. Oh, I know.
Oh, buddy.
Can't wait.
You playing golf?
I'm looking for my tea time.
Yeah, you should, because it's going to be raining until that point.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
And
I'm
everybody
sure,
else that missed out this whole week is going to try to golf that day.
I should probably look for it during Andy's baseball report, but I will be kind and wait till the break. It's time to bring you all of the sports news that's fit to be spoken for Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, your 12 o'clock sports fix. Spring training's begun, and he's got news to report.
That's right. Pitchers and catchers report today. It is the first day of spring training for the Padres, who are at the Peoria Sports Complex in Arizona. First full squad practice is slated for February 17th, although the majority of the team's position players will report before that date. We already have some news. Per Mike Shilt, Stephen Kolek will be stretched into a starting role. He joins the competition for the final couple rotation spots. Shilt had previously noted that Adrian Morejon would remain in the bullpen. And according to reports from the media, today said the same for Brian Hoeing, who remains in long relief. Jason Hayward's signing with the Padres is official. He gets a $1 million salary with up to $250,000 in potential performance bonuses. He's expected to platoon in left field with Connor Joe. Anthony Rendon is having hip surgery. He is expected to miss a long amount of time.
$35 million down the drain.
You don't say. He's expected to miss a lot of time, huh?
He apparently had a setback in his rehab the last few weeks. Another injury for Rendon. It now becomes unclear if and when he'll play for the Angels again. This is the sixth season of Rendon's $245 million contract with the Angels. He has not played more than 58 games in any of the first 5 seasons. Asterisk includes pandemic season of 2020. He did play 52 of 60 games that season.
High percentage that
Yes,
year.
yes. Well, it helps when you only have 60 games.
That's right.
Okay.
The irony that it was the COVID year when he was the healthiest is not lost on me.
These articles write themselves.
According to Alden Gonzalez, the Marlins have reached agreement on a 1-year Major League deal with right-hander and old friend Cal Quantrill. Quantrill gives a young Marlins rotation a durable veteran who has a knack for getting ground balls, isn't far removed from a nice stretch in Cleveland from 21 to 22. We'll see how he does in Miami. Pirates first baseman Spencer Horwitz will miss time in spring training because of a right wrist injury. The surgery addressed, quote, chronic symptoms, according to the team. The expected timeline for recovery is 6 to 8 weeks, confirming that Horwitz will miss at least some time to start the season. There's your baseball report, including your Pirates injury news.
Gotta have it.
Thanks.
Gotta have it. Here's
Raise
Braden.
the Jolly Roger.
Yes.
We're dialed in for Pirates baseball. Catch the fever. First time this offseason, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow divulged key details in a contract restructure that could help the franchise sign key players to long-term deals. In an extended interview with the Part of My Take podcast released Wednesday, Burrow was asked to describe how his 5-year, $275 million contract extension signed in 2023 could be altered to help give the Bengals extra salary cap flexibility to ink wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to the lucrative extensions they're seeking. You can convert some of the money to a signing bonus, which will lower the cap hit, Burrow said. You could push some of the money to the back end of the contract. That lowers the cap hit. And then when you get to the back end of the contract, you can restructure it and convert it to a signing bonus. You can also just take less money. Later in the interview, Burrow pointed out that most players just convert the money to a signing bonus in a method he said he was willing to pursue. Maybe instead of signing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they can get some linemen to protect Joe Burrow for not getting destroyed every play. Maybe that's probably a good call for the Bengals. But yes, all the time, we see this all the time with people in our chat saying, well, why doesn't Manny Machado just take less money? None of these NFL guys are taking less money. They're getting a signing bonus. They're still getting theirs. They're just finding ways to flip the cap hit.
Yeah. Creativity in the
exactly
contract.
A lot of A.J. Preller's out there in the NFL with the general managers.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State finalizing a deal to make veteran NFL coach Matt Patricia the school's new defensive coordinator. The move to bring in Patricia comes with the corresponding internal promotion of secondary coach Tim Walton to the co-defensive coordinator role. How does that work exactly? Ohio State will also be promoting safeties coach Matt Guerrieri to pass game coordinator, per sources. Patricia comes to Ohio State to replace Jim Knowles, who left for Penn State's defensive coordinator job in the wake of the Buckeyes' 2024 national title. In Patricia, the Buckeyes get a veteran defensive play caller who worked as the Patriots defensive coordinator for 6 seasons from 2012 to 2017. He began calling defensive plays without the official title in 2010, which was a device Bill Belichick used to break in new coordinators and keep pressure off of them. So they're going to hire Matt Patricia to be the new DC after they already promoted Tim Walton to co-defensive coordinator.
Wait, they're going to have
two
defensive
co-defensive coordinators.
They each submit a play, and then there's a quick battle to determine which one will be.
But then they have
bold strategy, Cotton.
Matt Guerrieri to be the passing game coordinator, so he'll coordinate the pass stuff. There's got to just be ways to pay these guys more money. I mean, that's got to be what it is, right? I mean, the co-defensive. I mean, they have that all over the place now. These co-defensive, co-offensive coordinators.
Oh, I didn't realize that's a thing.
I think it's just a way to pay these guys more.
Got it.
But I would imagine that Matt Patricia's probably calling the defense.
You would think.
That would be my guess. College basketball, here's the nugget on the Aztecs bubble. According to ESPN.com, they do have a bubble watch that updates daily. This updated this morning at 9:51. Quote, the Aztecs find themselves around a coin flip for the NCAA tournament after a recent stretch of not playing their most convincing basketball, even including Tuesday's 3-point win against San Jose State, in which they trailed by an average margin of 3.7 points. Even though they're still 9-4 in Mountain West play, they rank 52nd in the net and 43rd in strength of record. Strength of record is what an average team would do against the strength of schedule that San Diego State has. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Higher the number, the better you are. The lower the number, the worse you are. Squarely in the danger zone for a team seeking an at-large bid, especially from a conference that will probably have fewer bids this year than last. According to the ESPN forecast, the Mountain West Conference is tracking for 2.8 expected tourney teams. Can't wait to see an eighth of a team. Or sorry, 8/10ths of a team show
Sorry,
up to
San
the
Diego
NCAA
State,
tournament.
you only 80% made the tournament.
That's
you didn't
right.
make it 100%, so you can't go.
8 of your
Tough
players
scene.
get to play instead of the 10 or whatever it is. Joe Lenardi lists 3, but figures a sharp drop from the 6 for the conference last March. As the 4th best net team in that mix, they need more wins to solidify themselves. Next game will be Saturday against Boise State, 7 o'clock CBS Sports Network. So a lot of what Craig and I had to say about that, but that's I digress on those. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as a bad win.
Yeah, well, actually, there is.
There is. Go beat up on San Jose State like you're supposed to.
Please.
Remember right before the inauguration, the Department of Education tried to rope NIL into Title IX?
I do.
Well, that's not going to be a thing anymore. Title IX does
knew
not
that, too.
apply to name, image, and likeness deals. U.S. Department of Education said, which is a new Department of Education, said in a statement Wednesday rescinding...
Soon to be eliminated, Department of Education.
Right. The
On the way
Biden
out.
administration's guidance that schools must equitably distribute direct payments to male and female athletes. Quote, without a credible legal justification, the Biden administration claimed that NIL agreements between schools and student athletes are akin to financial aid and must therefore be proportionately distributed between male and female athletes under Title IX, according to a statement from Craig Traynor, the acting assistant secretary for civil rights. The claim that Title IX forces schools and colleges to distribute student athlete revenues proportionately based on gender equity considerations is sweeping and would require clear legal authority to support it. The decision comes a week after President Donald Trump spoke about his support for women and girls in sports while surrounded by female athletes before signing an executive order banning transgender women from competing on women's and girls' teams, citing compliance with Title IX. The Trump administration's statement Wednesday overturns a memo the Office for Civil Rights, the division of the Department of Education that enforces Title IX law, issued in December about how gender equity laws will apply to a new era of college sports that is on track to begin this summer. The NCAA and its power conferences have agreed to allow each school to share up to $20.5 million in direct payments to its athletes via NIL deals as one of the team's terms of a pending antitrust settlement. Most of the college athletic departments are going to put that money towards football and men's basketball, leaving a small portion, often less than 5%, to women's sports. Old administration said Title IX applies. New administration says it does not. I'm sure this will go to courts, but we'll see. They quickly eliminated that with the new Department of Education. So that I'm sure that will make everything so clear in April for all of these athletic departments who are trying to pay
Curious.
a lot of money for their football and basketball programs. I will say this. If it's an NCAA thing and all these big schools are paying a lot of money for football and basketball, what's stopping the schools from just dropping out of just separating themselves from the NCAA and starting their own thing?
Which is what they should do.
And then, therefore, eliminating all their other sports.
Which is what they should do and what we've argued for basically a year now. But again,
therefore, Title IX would then no longer apply to said schools.
Not lost on me to have a press conference surrounding yourself with women athletes and then the next week cut the money to actually go to the women athletes. But okay. Let's do something else. How about the local sports report? Preseason match day for San Diego FC. Y'all ready? The Chrome Dragons taking on the Portland Timbers. Don't know if it's raining in Indio. Maybe. I don't know. Nonetheless, the Coachella Valley Invitational continues a series of preseason matches for both MLS and NWSL teams.
Does MLS stop for rain?
Nope.
Okay, good.
In fact, they've played in ridiculous snow in the past.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've seen some matches in Utah where they are like dribbling the ball through a snowdrift.
Is baseball and golf the only sports that don't play?
Pretty much.
In the weather?
Yeah, they'd stop for lightning.
Everybody stops for
Everyone stops for lightning.
Safety
but,
first.
Yeah, but no, you play in the rain.
Except in Caddyshack when you're playing the
We're kind of hoping that
greatest round of your life.
We're kind of hoping that Snappy down the road is a little bit better at holding the rain than it was last year when the U.S. women's team played basically with buoys at the corners.
I saw there was an article in the UT a few weeks ago that they put another new thing of grass in, and it's the they believe the right grass. It was the wrong grass last year, so hopefully it should be better.
Hopefully it should be better indeed. But today, it's the Chrome Dragons against the Portland Timbers. Coachella Valley Invitational. Match kicks off at 1:30. San Diego FC would like you to download their app for free and watch it through there. But it's really on YouTube. It's on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube as well. But you can either watch it through their app on YouTube, or you could just go to YouTube and watch it. But either way, hey, download the app, do what you want. SDFC trying to bounce back from a 3-1 preseason loss Saturday to New York City FC. So be looking forward. Maybe later next hour, I'll have the lineup for you. Probably that'll be turned in, I should say, pretty soon. But looking forward to that at 1:30 today. San Diego Wave FC had a closed preseason scrimmage against Utah Royals yesterday. No revealing of the score. They are heading to Indio. However, they will be at the Coachella Valley Invitational with matches Sunday against Houston Dash and the following Saturday against Bay FC. The Abbotsford Canucks scored the only goal of the third period last night. That snapped a 2-2 tie and gave a 3-2 win for Abbotsford over the San Diego Gulls up in British Columbia. Same two teams lock sticks tonight at 7 p.m. Despite the protestation of the Charlotte Hornets, the LA Lakers are moving on from their rescinded trade for center Mark Williams. Yesterday, the team announced the signing of Alex Len on the buyout market. I remember Alex Len occasionally torturing the Lakers in 10-minute stretches for Sacramento. He was the backup or sometimes third-string center for the Kings. He was waived and then picked up by Brooklyn and then waived again. So the Lakers were able to get him on the buyout market. 7-footer should provide added length to the front court. Pause. That really should have been a foul. Yesterday on the, but thankfully no one was paying attention, so I got away scot-free. Yesterday on the hard courts, Toronto edged Philadelphia. Knicks skated past the Pacers. Pistons blew out the Bulls, and Memphis got past Phoenix by a 119-112 score. However, in that game, Kevin Durant hit the 30,000 career point mark in the NBA. Congratulations to KD. Tonight, 15 games. Wow! On the NBA hardcourts leading up to All-Star Weekend. This is the last day that everyone's going to play. The Lakers get their second game with Luka They are at Utah. Maybe they only have to play Utah the rest of the year. It's part of the deal of trading for Doncic.
There you go.
Also just get to play Utah over and over again. So more soft landing time for the Lakers taking on Utah. Memphis battles the LA Clippers at Intuit Dome later tonight at 7:30. And the Four Nations face-off begins tonight. It's Canada versus Sweden on TNT and the Max app. Gotta admit, I'm pretty excited for this.
Best news, only one Anaheim Duck is on a roster, which means they can all focus on continuing their winning streak when they get back.
That's right. Ducks can stay locked in.
That's right. Stay locked in, Anaheim.
Ducks can enjoy their chicken basket.
Keep
and remain
Zegras
locked in.
healthy. Please.
Balsamic got your joke.
Oh, good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
in the chat.
One person. Maybe a couple of you out there did as
Yeah,
well.
you probably chuckled.
Added length, expecting for a groan or two, But Higgins to smile and laugh.
I bet Ben Higgins got it. I bet wherever Ben Higgins was driving in his car, he laughed out
Yeah,
loud.
he probably
He
wheezed.
said, "Good one, Craig."
Craig he strikes me as a wheezer, Ben.
Yeah,
He probably was wheezing in his car.
could be. Yeah. Anyways, that's your 12 o'clock sports fix for Wednesday, February 12th. 2025. And of course, practice is taking place at the Genesis Invitational in
probably
between the
chilly.
rain. Ugh, God, it looks bad out there right now. It looks like it's raining right now. Stay safe if you're out there.
Did you guys ever hear the promo of Scraby reporting on the rain?
No.
It's so funny.
Do you have it?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if it's in the system anymore. But
That's
it
a
was
letdown
raining
setup.
it was raining like sideways. And
Wait,
he's
why
like,
was he reporting?
it was like raining sideways. They're doing the show, and he's just like, and it's just raining really heavily outside right now. You can hear it. It's just so random. And you're just like, Gwen and Chris lost their minds.
So good.
Raining really hard right now outside. It's classic.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a time out, but Padres fans, stay right there because when we come back, it's our first 2025 edition of the Daily Shilt.
So
Mike
exciting.
Shilt has spoken to the public.
Shilt up.
Shilt speaks, we listen. And we will hear him.
So instead of a bolt up, you did a shilt up.
Wow.
Wow. That's a foul.
Yeah, I think so.
He draws the foul.
I'll take it.
However, my added length was a charge. I got to
Yeah.
hold my
offensive.
position, send it back the other way.
Push your
Okay.
luck. Did Adam give any fouls yesterday?
No.
No. Adam.
Let
he
him
was-
play. Let him
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
let him play.
Yeah.
Adam's a player's
That's right.
ref.
Players ref. Let him play. No fouls? Come on, Adam.
Daily Shilt when we return on the Fan. Craig Elsten here for Underdog. It's basketball season, and when your stars are on fire, you can be winning money watching sports with Underdog, one of the leading sports apps in the country, and now available to play here in California. All you're doing, daily fantasy sports, very straightforward. You pick a minimum of 2 players, as many as 8. They have to be from at least 2 separate teams, and you're choosing whether a player is going to go higher or lower on one of their stats, like points or assists, rebounds, first quarter 3-pointers, turnovers. They've got everything for you. All your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from, different sports as well. You can play for as little as $1 and turn it into $1,000 just with your knowledge. I was on there just yesterday, thought I had a perfect entry lined up until Tyrese Maxey decided that this would be the game that he would only score 3 points, or I think it was 5 when he averages 28 a game. Hey, that happens. It's part of the fun, and it is a lot of fun to be on Underdog. They've got optionality. They've got all sorts of promotions that are running just about every day a week to help you win more. Underdog, the best place to play Pick'em. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code Craig to unlock a special offer of about $1,000, up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun. Sign up with promo code Craig. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Okay. Cool. Andy and Elsten here with you. Sports Fix in the rearview mirror. The match game dead ahead.
Yeah, on the right. Greg is ready.
He's ready.
Fresh off his Eagles victory.
Adam Klug has been pulling sound. He's been working hard to make sure he's free for the next segment. Emperor Scraby is not here.
I don't see Scraby.
Yeah. Usually you don't even have to see him. You can sense him.
Made it out of there. Maybe
after your show yesterday, he's like, I'm not coming back.
Maybe I just wrecked it. Maybe I went in and took over Scrape's stand.
You might have done it. Well,
I've taken out the
coup d'etat.
I've taken out the dictator.
Well, that means you have to be the dictator, Braden. Are you
Maybe
ready?
I'm in control now.
Maybe so.
Maybe I am.
Maybe so.
He went into hiding.
So he won't be here. It's fine. Scratch him off the list then. It's time for the Daily Shilt. And we get to do this until they break camp in Peoria about a month from now.
I got 3 shilts.
All right. How about Shilt number 1?
All right, shilt number 1. Some of them are kind of long, but we'll go with it.
It's fine. Love to hear from Shilty.
Got to let him talk.
First time this year, other than a quick shout out on a Saturday at FanFest.
FanFest, yeah.
That's correct.
So let's find out what's up with Shilteroni.
First clip, finding depth for a starting rotation and which relievers could be stretched out as starters. I think we might know the answer
This might be the Kohler quote
to this.
There we go.
But here it is.
There in terms of finding some depth.
Well, we have good competition, which is healthy. Let's start with the established guys. It starts. Darvish had a really good offseason. Early, just in general, I'm comfortable and confident that we've won our offseason with not only our pitchers but our position players. But specific to the starters, Darvish has had a really productive offseason. Is in a really good spot in every facet. So we got a healthy Darvish going, and Michael, of course, coming off a great year, King, and has again got married or went on his honeymoon after the off seasons. So that was exciting for him. But Michael's in a great spot, and of course Dylan. I don't know if you've seen the beard, but looking really good and coming off another great year of consistency and did a great job for us. So there's 3 guys that are right at the top that we feel comfortable about and being all equivalent of ones. And then no particular order. You've got Vasquez, who had a lot of opportunities for us last year and got better as the season went, and is clearly competing for a starting job. And then you've got Waldron. Without Matt Waldron, the season didn't end the way he would have liked to have. We had a healthier club at the end, and we're clicking with some guys pitching well and returning. But Matt Waldron had a 6-week stretch last year that effectively kept us right in where we were looking to go. And so Matty's going to compete for that job, and Johnny Brito's going to get that opportunity as a starter, and so that'll be good. And we're going to lengthen out Stephen Kolek and give him an opportunity to start as well, and then we'll take it from there.
Is Kolek the only of the relievers that you plan to be stretched out, or could there be others?
Yeah, we discussed. I think we talked about it at FanFest with Maury Hone, going to keep him in that reliever role. Same thing with Hoeing. There was a discussion internally about Brian, but I feel like he's in a good niche where he's at as well. So, Kolek's the only guy from last year's club.
Okay.
A little news there.
Yeah, the Kolek part's news.
Yeah.
The Hoeing staying in the bullpen, that's news.
Out of all 3 of those pitchers, Kolek would be the last I thought would be the one that they would stretch out.
And yet, here he is.
Here he is.
He's a big boy. He's got a good frame to him.
And you wonder why he was on
Rule 5 pick.
You wonder why they kept him all year. Rule 5 pick.
I would go ahead and shelve the talking point of winning the offseason. I would go ahead and take that one and just whoop.
Yeah, let's not say that.
Just take that out. Take that out of the lexicon. Don't need it. Understand what you're saying. Your individual players worked on their individual improvements, and you like the place they are at going into spring training. I get it. let's not talk about winning the offseason.
You don't want to hang the win the offseason banner anyway.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to win.
I think Camelback Ranch won the offseason. I think
Good for them.
I think the guys down there.
Even if the Padres did win the offseason, don't ever say it.
Yeah.
Don't you remember Vince Young when he was acquired by the Eagles? When the Eagles won the offseason, they brought all these famous or names.
Yep.
I think they went 500 that year. Remember he had the Dream Team press conference and everything like that. Won the offseason.
Remember 2021 won the offseason. Remember 2023 won the offseason.
Remember the first time AJ Preller was here?
Yeah, winter
Rockstar.
of 2014. Rockstar GM won the offseason.
Won the offseason.
Whit Merrifield, not Whit Merrifield. Who was
he was
the
always
third
dancing
baseman?
around all the time.
Who was the third baseman?
Will Middlebrooks.
Will Middlebrooks.
Isn't he an analyst for the Red Sox?
Will
now?
Middlebrooks.
I remember Will Middlebrooks.
Derek Norris.
Derek Norris. Oh, yeah.
Sure. Matt Kemp.
Matt
Hips
Kemp.
don't lie. Hips don't lie. Matt
Justin
Kemp.
Upton made an all-star team.
Yeah, he sure did. How many has Max Fried made?
Probably a lot.
More? Trey Turner seemed like a good player. Never mind. Don't take me down that road.
You know what? But
Don't
Will
take me down that
Myers
road.
getting beaned by his brother in the home run derby that's actually top-notch.
We can just go ahead and shelve one the offseason. Cool try. I get it. Day one. Go ahead and put that one away. All right, what's next? Shilt number 2.
Part of winning the offseason, right, is acquiring some left fielders. So what are they going to do with Connor Joe, Powhatan, USD Torero, and Jason Hayward?
Since the last time we talked to you, you guys have signed 2 left fielders. How do you view Connor Joe and Jason Hayward and the way they would fit into this group?
Yeah, I've got some history with Jason. I mean, listen, the guy's a winner. Clearly won a World Series with the Cubs. Been, on a lot of postseason teams in his career. Virtually every year he's in the postseason. So you're talking about a winning player. I was with him in St. Louis in 15. Came up at the end of that year, and he's just, he's a proven guy, a real pro, and he's clearly going to get the opportunity to go play and take the opportunity in the left field that we have. And he's excited to be here, and we're excited to have him. So it's a really good addition, especially this late in the offseason. And then Connor Joe, local kid that has been able to play all over the field. So, he'll be in that mix a little bit as well, but he also has played first base, and, we do have more of a DH spot open as well. So, there's multiple different paths for Connor, and again, I'm really excited. I won't put words in his mouth clearly, but, a guy that, homegrown guy that's going to be able to have some home games. So, plus makeup, plays the game right, and it'll be a good addition.
For Jason Hayward, he had a $9 million salary last year. He made $9 million. And of course, good for him.
Sure.
But he's a $1 million player this year. So it kind of tells you, where his value or where the market sees him anyways. And he's a guy who could retire. I mean, he doesn't need to keep playing, clearly wants to keep playing and wants to contribute. And I'm really hopeful for him. I think it'd be awesome for him to have a good season. I think he was really going to be a good addition to the Padres. Going to need to perform. But just that comparison kind of tells you where his career is at. He's at the end of his career. It's no doubt about it. He's on the last 18.
Yeah.
The last 9, sorry.
The last, yeah, or maybe he's teeing off on 17, as the analogy may carry.
Yes.
For Connor Joe, it's a different story. He's in his early 30s. He's hoping to make good at home. He's hoping to have a bounce-back year that he can convert into a much better contract for a different team next year, or, maybe the Padres re-sign him, but more likely the bounce back, bounce away type situation like we just saw with Profar. You could only dream of him doing half as well as what Jurickson did last year. That would be great for this team. If he put up 2.1 WAR, that would be amazing for this team. I just hope they don't overexpose him. When I heard the part about, we got a DH job open too, the more you play Joe against righties, the less you're going to get from the kid. The more you lock him into the role that he's good at, the more you're going to get from him.
Yeah. This is a matter of just really trying to get the most out of your guys in the niche that they have, the same way that we talked about with Connor Joe with the Pirates last year, being used in the middle of the lineup or being used against righties, probably just not what you want to do. You really want to play to their strengths because you're going to have a lot of those role players.
All right, Shilt number 3. Let's hear it.
Shilt number 3. Who's the starting catcher now? Since we don't have the details of that, brought in a couple of catchers. Who's the starting primary catcher, Mike?
Do you have a starting catcher at the moment or a primary catcher?
Well, listen, we've got good catching competition, and that's healthy. We got competition in this camp, which I love. He's mentioned the starting rotation. There's competition there. there's competition with the catchers. I mean, clearly we, have signed Diaz to play, and rightfully so. All-Star 2 years ago, All-Star MVP, came up last year, helped us, contributed. So, clearly, he's going to be a part of the mix. But, you look at Campy, and Campy was, similar to Matt Waldron. You look at the numbers with Campy. You can evaluate catchers a lot of different ways, clearly. But, one of the ways that we evaluate a lot of what we do is if we win or not. And if you look at Campy's record his one-loss record, it's pretty darn good. And there's a lot of factors to that, clearly. But point being is Campy had a good year for us. And at the end of the year, we get Diaz in. And, but we look back at the body of work, and it was productive for Campy. So we expect him to, like I mentioned, FanFest, had a good offseason, went to winter ball, Dominican, and played. And it's in a good spot to come in and compete for playing time like he got last year. And then you're talking about, Brett Sullivan came up, helped us out. He's been a guy in the organization up and down for the last couple of years that has done a nice job for us. Again, went to winter ball and work on his game. So Sully's guys in that mix. And we just signed a guy that's won 2 World Series with Maldonado that's really hungry still after 13 years at this level. So it's going to be a really healthy competition, and we're excited about it.
So no one is a starting catcher, right? Wait, I'm asking sincerely. I missed a little part of it because I was reading the chat.
He did not answer the
They
question.
would have been better off asking who's your opening day starter.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I need to regain the palate for this particular flavor of SpaghettiO.
It's been a while.
That we're going to get every day on the Daily Shilt. Because today it didn't quite strike the tongue the way I was hoping.
You thought it'd be different?
I didn't. Or
did you just forget what it tastes like?
It's exactly it. I forgot what it tastes like.
Oh, that's got some more kick than I thought.
Yeah. Or way less kick than I thought. Yeah, cool. Cool. That's fine.
So we don't know who's starting.
Using the win-loss record of a catcher as justification for their performance.
Is that worse than a pitcher win-loss record?
100%.
That's got to be worse.
That was actually bizarre to me. Like, that's a stretch, bro.
I hate pitcher win-loss. I hate when you describe pitchers and you do win-loss. It's so out of their control.
It's forget everybody else on the team.
Right.
I only gave up 1 run and I lost, but we got shut out, so I guess you should have pitched better.
It is what it is.
My bad, bro.
That's the Daily Shilt for today.
Who's the starting catcher?
Who had the win-loss record?
Campusano's win-loss record as a catcher. I don't even know where to look that up, to be honest. I'm sure it's in the Padres notes, but I'm not even sure if that's listed on Fangraphs or Baseball Reference. I'd like to say it's not, because no one looks at that ever. But Shilty looked it up, so right on. I'm not mocking the man. This is how he operates. It's just we got to get back into the rhythm of it.
You got to decode his encoded audio that he sends out.
Yeah. Oh, we got a 2-time World Series winner in Martin Maldonado.
He's not inaccurate with that. That's an accurate statement.
Hasn't hit 200 since 2019, but
Austin Hedges has won a World Series.
That is true. That is true. Okay.
Guy knows how to win.
More Daily Shilt tomorrow. Sam Levitt at the top of the hour. Baseball coverage abounds on Annie and Elsten. But up next, it's time for Silly Games. We do it every day at this time. Different silly game. Today, it's Wednesday. That means it's Match Game Wednesday. We're about to assemble the all-star celebrity panel, and we need 2 contestants to join us to go head-to-head on the match game. So it's time to open up the phone lines, 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Give us a call. We need 2 of you to dial in. You'll go head-to-head as we play the match game next. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Don't forget to stay tuned. Coming up at the top of the hour, one segment away, we will announce today's biggest fan. For a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game, register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan, and potentially your name will be called. Right now, we're about to call two names because it's a Wednesday. It's a Match Game Wednesday on Annie and Elsten. That means it's time to get ready to match the stars. Annie Heilbrunn.
Hello.
Adam Klug.
What's up, guys?
On the reg, Greg.
ELGLES. He's been partying so much. You forget.
Eagles.
Sounds
That
like
is
the
good.
mayor
Ready
of
for the
Philly.
parade.
About as good as Bradley Cooper right there.
That's right.
Braden Soprano.
What's up?
And I'm your host, Gene Rayburn. Welcome back to Match Game 97.3, where you have big-time prizes available if you can match the stars. Today, we are once again playing for our end-of-the-month grand prize drawing. You guys are so bad at unscrewing your caps.
Or we're just
Letting
really
you
good
know
at
we're
it.
love
locked
to
in.
That's
It's
right.
the sound of being locked in is what it is.
Craig, we are locked.
You are attempting today to qualify for our end-of-the-month grand prize drawing, a trip for two to Las Vegas and 2 tickets to see Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. But if you win today, you're qualified for the drawing at the end of the month. We've got 2 contestants on the line to play the match game today. We're going to start things off with James in El Cajon. Hi, James. Welcome to the match game.
Hello, James.
Hello. Hey, James, tell us a little bit about yourself before we play today.
Well, I am a self-employed pool service technician. I live in the San Diego State area, actually, not El Cajon. But my wife and I live here. I've lived here for 30 years plus, and I enjoy listening to the station.
Awesome, James.
Appreciate you, James. Stay right there. You're contestant number 1. You're going to be taking on Paul in Ramona. Hi, Paul. Welcome to the match game.
Hey, guys. What's up?
What's up, Paul?
Great to have you here, sir. You're contestant number 2. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Extremely awesome. I love San Diego sports, and I'm ready to win. Let's go.
Guys,
right.
locked in.
I think he won the offseason.
Modest and humble. I
Right
like
there.
it.
That's right.
That's Paul.
We call that confidence, Greg. We call that confidence.
Right.
That's Paul in Ramona. Okay, guys, here's how the game is played. It's very straightforward. Each of you is going to get 1 question per round. We're going to play a total of 2 rounds, a tiebreaker if we have to have it. When it is your turn, I'm going to keep you on hold, and I'm going to read a prompt to our All-Star Celebrity panel. They're then going to write down their best answer. Then I'm going to come back to you, take you off hold, read you the exact same question, and ask for your answer. We go around the panel, and every time you match, you get a point. And at the end of 2 rounds and a potential tiebreaker, whoever has the most points is the winner and is qualified for the Vegas trip at the end of the month. Okay, James, you were designated contestant number 1. As such, you have the option in round 1. Would you like question A or would you like question B?
I'll take question A.
Question A, it is. As we begin this edition of Match Game 97.3, we do so with the legal disclaimer, which is that all characters appearing in Match Game 97.3 questions are 100% and entirely fictitious. Any resemblance to anybody living, dead, or previously imagined is purely coincidental. Okay, we got a couple of Match Game 76 classics in here. We got a couple of Elsten originals. Round 1, question A. Putting you on hold, James. Panelists are locked in. Here we go. Dr. Frankenstein said, "I gave my monster the brain of a former Miss America. Now he has an uncontrollable urge to blank."
I'm sorry?
Dr. Frankenstein, right?
Yes.
Dr. Frankenstein builds
Yeah.
Frankenstein's
Okay,
monster.
yeah. okay.
Builds it with parts of other people, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Frankenstein said, "I gave my monster the brain of a former Miss America. Now he has an uncontrollable urge to blank."
Ready. Locked.
Okay. Braden seems ready.
Not
Yeah,
really.
ready,
Nope,
ready,
not
ready.
ready.
And he's got a better answer than I do.
And he's got
Let it be
one.
known.
Braden's got one.
Seen
Okay.
a pageant or two in my day, Adam.
Panelists are locked in. James, we come back to you, sir. Dr. Frankenstein said, I gave my monster the brain of a former Miss America. Now he has an uncontrollable urge to...
Sing.
To sing.
Oh, that's a great answer.
I like that.
Almost put that.
The
How many?
talent.
Yeah, how many Miss Americas sing at the talent competition?
It's a great answer.
lot of
I
them.
put promote world peace.
That's another one.
Okay.
That's all you can hope for, right?
Yeah, it's always the answer.
Absolutely.
I'd like
answer.
world peace.
I went with wear a bathing suit.
I think that's one of the classic answers right there. Swimsuit competition.
Yep.
I think, based on the Super Bowl we witnessed, that he would put belt to bottom.
What does that mean?
Well, that's exactly what the Eagles did to the Chiefs. I did the PG version right here.
I don't think it had anything to do with the subject.
No,
we get it, Greg. Your
Greg
team won
was
the Super
putting
Bowl.
it that way anyway.
Hot tip for all
In
the
the
contestants.
world.
It's going to be very Super Bowl centric with my answers today.
So is mine. And I put
I'm looking
spell
forward
Eagles
to other
wrong.
answers. That's a good one.
Spell Eagles wrong. Like the Philly mayor.
Smile, wave, wear a crown.
I thought I was close.
How does it feel to have your team not blow a gigantic lead in the Super Bowl?
That still hurts, huh?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, well.
What's it like to say you have a team that's a world champion?
It feels good. Feels really good. Real
It does.
real
How does
good.
it feel that you have an NFL team?
That also feels good.
Yeah. Most people in your audience don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I was here for a little bit of that.
Hate you just a little bit.
Some of us would just like a team, Greg. You don't have to rub it in.
No points for James in round one. It's now time for Paul's question. Paul, stay tuned. Listen attentively. Round one, question B. Here we go. The crowd was amazed when King Kong plucked a helicopter out of the air and used it as a blank. The crowd was amazed when King Kong plucked a helicopter out of the air and used it as a blank.
Can't wait for the Super Bowl answer that Greg's got.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Ready.
Done. Ready to go.
Ready.
All right.
Running out of time already.
Everybody's ready. Oh, my
Good luck with your
Lord.
match here.
All right, Paul, here we go. The crowd was amazed when King Kong plucked a helicopter out of the air and used it as a
Weapon?
weapon.
Okay.
Sure. Spinning
Be
blades.
kind of small.
I had bowling ball.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
a bowling ball could be a weapon.
I don't
What
know.
kind of
like
helicopter do you like? What?
I don't think it would roll very well.
No.
I went with toothpick.
I think toothpick is
That's
a
a great answer.
Great answer, Adam.
It's not a match,
my
so
mom
how great
thought
is it?
toothpick
It's fine.
too. I don't know bowling ball.
I went with like a football to spike.
Oh, Lord, Greg.
You
Like
know
when
what?
you win a
That's
big
who
game.
invited this guy?
That's a foul.
That's two fouls on Greg.
Greg's
That's
getting fouls
That's
now.
early for me.
I also went toothpick.
Yeah, toothpick was a good
Toothpick
answer.
was a good answer.
Toothpick was a good answer.
Easy toothpick.
Well,
We
guess
got-
what? At the end of round one, no score, but that's not atypical. And second round answers are generally
Just like
easier.
the Chiefs in the first half against the Eagles.
Yeah, Adam. Thank you. Very good.
And the unfortunate thing for
Well
our
played.
contestants is really only 3 of us that are participating, as Greg is doing his own thing
Yeah,
today.
I'm in the Braden role today.
No, our
That's right.
contestants should know just to go football theme. They might have a
I
chance.
mean, to get one. Yeah. Okay, here we go. And Paul, because you are contestant 2, you get the choice in round 2. Would you like question A or question B?
Whatever you want.
Whatever.
dealer's
Dealer's
choice.
choice.
Okay. Do we have a sound effect for that?
Never had that
Surprised me,
before.
he said.
Never had that
Wow.
before. All right. Well, I'm just going to do A then because it's the first one up. So.
I like
That's
the
not very
confidence.
creative. You should have thrown in a different. You should have question C. You should have a backup ready to go.
Next time I might.
Skip to the tiebreak.
Dealer's
Yeah.
choice.
Wow. Here we go, panelists. Round 2, question A, lock in.
Locked.
Spring training Sammy had a rough night's sleep last night.
How rough was it?
Well,
date shake.
he asked for an Airbnb, but Awesome Adam got him an Air Blank instead.
I got one.
These are coincidental, not real characters.
Right,
correct?
not real characters. Yeah, we had the disclaimer.
We'll
I
leave
don't
the
like
light.
being called Awesome Adam.
We'll leave the light on for you.
Air what?
Got him an air blank.
Yeah, spring training Sammy had a rough night's sleep last night. He asked for an Airbnb, but Awesome Adam got him an Air Blank instead.
If you don't get a match on this,
I know.
we're in trouble.
I've deviated from my original plan.
Don't deviate.
Done.
Mine's funny.
Multiple matches incoming.
All right, Paul.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Here we go, Paul. Spring training Sammy had a rough night's sleep. He asked for an Airbnb, but Awesome Adam got him an air blank instead.
Air mattress.
Air mattress.
That's going to get you a couple.
Air mattress.
mattress.
That's a match.
Air mattress.
That's a match.
I said air horn.
The classic Air Motel 6. So leave the light on for
yes, indeed. Hey, 2 matches for you right there, Paul.
You want to crown him? Go ahead and crown him.
Nope, there's one more question to go. And this one belongs to James. James, you need 2 to tie, 3 to win. Here we go. Silly Scraby said to the cologne salesman, "This cologne doesn't work.
Uh-oh.
Instead of attracting women, it's attracting blank." Silly Scraby said to the cologne salesman, "This cologne doesn't work. Instead of attracting women, it's attracting blank."
Done.
As much as I want to go with Braden after the show they hosted yesterday, I'm not going with Braden as my answer.
Fair enough.
I'm done.
Fair enough. Right. That'd be weird.
I was thinking about putting dictators, but I'm not going to do that.
It's fair.
Scrape
It's fair.
stand.
All right. Everyone's ready.
Go home, Greg.
Here we go, James. Here we go, James. Silly Scraby said to the cologne salesman, "This cologne doesn't work. Instead of attracting women, it's attracting
Flies.
flies."
Oh.
Flies. Lord
Flies.
of the flies.
I'm really hoping for no tie.
Gonna
Objectively
get a
the right
match,
answer.
just not by me. I said dogs.
Uh-oh.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm-
like dogs running up to him.
Let's just go ahead and say we know Greg is not going to be a match, right?
Right. What's Adam a
Show
match
Greg
for?
the answer.
Yeah,
I said attracting eagles.
wow.
The national bird.
So we need a
Sing.
2 for 2 here to get a tie and force overtime, which I don't think we're rooting for. I went flies.
Okay.
Okay, good. You got a
Flies.
match.
Same page as Annie with dogs.
Oh, well. That means, Paul, you're today's champion. Congratulations.
All right, Paul.
All right. Thank you, guys. Woo!
Well done, sir. Stay right there on hold for now. Braden will get your information during the break. James, thanks for being a good sport and for playing. And
Yes, James.
normally I let Greg do a promo, but
No.
I do have a fun
Yes,
fact
I'd
for
like
you.
a promo.
Did you
Andy
know?
in the
did
chat,
you,
that's not how you spell flies.
Did you know that Super Bowl champion A.J. Brown was drafted by the
Cut
San
off his
Diego
mic.
Padres?
Padres!
Yes, I did. All right.
Yep.
There you go.
Great.
Removed from
Buy
stage.
tickets for
Support
Country
him if
Fest.
you
There, I
want.
did it.
And Country Fest.
Sam Levitt next.
March 22nd.
All right. We got Sam Levitt standing by, but he is not today's biggest fan. We're all his biggest fan for providing so much great content for us. But he is not today's 97.3 The Fan biggest fan. It is time. And we would like to congratulate today's biggest fan, Colin Jennings from Vista. Colin Jennings from Vista. You need to call us. Right now, you got 10 minutes.
Let's go, Colin.
At 833-288-0973. If you do, you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember, you can register your name at 973thefan, sd.com/biggest-fan. But you have till 1:12 here. Colin Jennings of Vista.
Call in, Colin.
Please call in.
Colin.
Colin?
Okay.
Colin.
Call in.
Call in.
Colin.
Call in. Call in.
Here's Sam Levitt, live from Peoria and Padres spring training. Sammy spring training is back, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, my friend?
Annie, Craig, Braden, great to talk to you. It's been a chilly, sort of gloomy first day here in Peoria. No sun to speak of. I haven't had to pull out the sunglasses, but you know what? The brightness is coming from inside the clubhouse and on the field, because it's always great to see these guys, and great to see everybody getting into the action here as pitchers and catchers report. So a little chilly, but all is well here in Peoria.
Before they ask you important things, how was the date shake in Dateland, as I've recommended multiple
The date
times?
shake was good. It was good. I will say the date shake, I think, is an acquired taste. Now, it is good. You do have to enjoy dates, which I'm not sure everybody does. My only problem with the date shake
just ask Scraby.
is that it's a little piecey. You know, like there's little pieces of dates, and they're not like always the. It's a little piecey, but if you can get past that, it's worth a try one time when you're going through.
Here's a
Dateland.
tip, Sam. Here's a tip. You could still go to Dateland and get a shake. You could get a different flavor and just pretend it's the date shake. That's the new tip.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you're driving on the way home and you got to stop at Dateland, get yourself a cookies and cream shake and pretend it's a date shake.
I stopped there, and I also stopped in Yuma at Mr. G's Tacos.
There you go.
I've never been to Mr. G's Tacos.
I had 2 rolled tacos and a cheese, rice, and bean burrito. So that was good. I had a good couple of stops.
Well, Sammy, let's get into the lay of the land. You know, what's been going on there today? We saw you posted some videos, some tweets. What stood out to you so far?
Yeah, I mean, a pretty basic first day of pitchers and catchers reporting, bullpens, stretching, live BPs. There are position players here hitting, guys that I've seen today that don't have to report yet. Jay Cronenworth is here, was taking some BPs. Andrew Bogarts is here. Tyler Wade is here. A number of other guys are here as well, you know, whether you want to talk about Tirso Ornelas or Leah Dallas DeVries. A lot of guys that are not pitchers and catchers are already here and working out, and some of those guys involved in the live BPs as well. But pretty basic day. You know, Michael King was in the bullpen. Dylan Cease threw a bull. Darvish threw a pen as far as live BPs. Matt Waldron was out there throwing a live BP. Number of other minor leaguers as well. But you know, typical stuff, PFPs, all that good stuff that you love spring training for. So I wouldn't say anything out of the ordinary, but all good stuff to see here on day one.
By the way, Braden, Colin has just called in.
I see that.
Nice,
we cannot
Colin.
talk to him until this interview is over.
Yeah, so stay right there, Colin. Just hang in there. But our 3-day streak is over.
It's great.
We've gotten a biggest fan to Colin.
Sammy's brought the luck.
Way to rip a double.
Where Sammy goes, champagne flows, including for Colin. It can even be adjacency. But Sammy's here, therefore Colin is winning. Did you feel like you won the offseason, Sammy?
You know, that's a great question. I certainly had a good off season. I had fun. I skied. I had some time off. I saw my parents. I did move last week to Ocean Beach, so that was a big development. And then promptly after I unpacked, I then repacked for spring training and left for 6.5 weeks. But
OB's more your style now, Sam. I agree.
Yeah, I feel like I won the off season. I did want to maybe drop a few more pounds. So I'm going to play myself into shape over the course of spring training. I think that's the way I'm going about it.
There you go.
Sammy, I don't think it's a bad idea. In football, you show up in the best shape of your life. In baseball, I feel like you more throughout spring training work into the best shape of your life. So there's still time. We saw a little bit of news, right? So it sounds like they've got at least some options in competition for the starting rotation. What did you hear today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, maybe the most interesting piece of news that came out today was that the Padres are planning on lengthening out Stephen Kolek, and he will be among the candidates they consider for that starting rotation. Now, how serious is that as far as Kolek versus a Matt Waldron, a Randy Vasquez, a Johnny Brito? I'm not totally sure at this point. Stephen Kolek did throw a bullpen today, but he is somebody that does have starting experience, and it does sound like, the idea of maybe doing that with Brian Hoeing was something that was, discussed as well at some point, but Stephen Kolek will be the guy, out of those three that I think we all focused on as potential options to be stretched out in Hoeing, Morahone, and Kolek. It seems like, well, not seems like, it is going to be Stephen Kolek, who's the one that becomes an option. So, look, I think it's an interesting situation to see, if he, shows up here and performs really well, and they have two starting rotation spots. Could he steal one? I suppose. But it also could be a depth piece as well, as far as, look, we all know that over the course of a season, you end up needing a number of different arms to come in and fill spots, and it may just give them more versatility with a guy like Stephen Kolek. So as far as news today, really nothing major broke today, nothing out of the ordinary, no surprises. But that news that Stephen Kolek is going to be stretched out, it sounds like he'll be a real candidate for the starting rotation, and there's certainly a sense of competition here, for those final two spots. Of course, the looming question is going to continue to be, will there be another more veteran name that's in here at some point to take one of those spots? I think we all understand that's possible, but I said it this morning, I'll say it again to you, once spring training starts, once players are here and we're here, I just focus on who's here and the reality of what the present situation is. And right now they've got two open spots and they've got a real competition going on. So, hey, Stephen Kolek can perform well. You're stretching him out for a reason, so what's to say that he couldn't steal a spot? So it'll be interesting to see how he does, no doubt.
Yeah, personally, I'm hoping for Brito, Kolek, Bergert maybe to be the top three in the El Paso rotation, come the beginning of the year. But we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Now, you had a great clip that we played earlier in the program, Sammy, talking to Matt Waldron, and I think it's dual interest, both that he's trying to commit to throwing more knucklers, but also, maybe more importantly, that he's trying to commit to throwing that 80-plus mile-an-hour knuckleball, because that's where he's an outlier from all the knucklers that have preceded him. No one generally threw the ball as hard as he did while knuckling it.
Yeah, and we've seen a knuckleballer who threw it hard have success before. You think of somebody like R.A. Dickey back in the day, right? Was somebody who had variations of it and also threw it harder than most other guys did. So, look, I think overall the thing with Matt Waldron, and we've talked about it before, we talked about it last season, to me, he's a bit of a fascinating case because he just doesn't feel like a finished product, right? This is clearly somebody, well, he's somebody who still did not start throwing the knuckleball all that long ago, and even as he was having success last year, when you would talk to Matt, it just always seemed like he was still a work in progress. Like he was still figuring it out start to start, how to use it, how much to use it, his confidence level in it. I mean, you go back to talking about Waldron, last year and the year prior, look, it's always been very much a work in progress, and it really feels like he's felt that way. So, Matt's really interesting. He's a very calm, cool, collected guy. But I think there's a real competitive nature in there, and I also think that he's still right now, learning how to use that thing, and until he gets to a point where I think he's really comfortable in how he's using it, I think there's always going to be untapped potential. So him saying earlier today that he's going to rely on it more, what does that mean? Because he was up above 40% at times with the usage during starts last year. Could that be going up some sort of significant amount, like he's all of a sudden he's throwing at 70%? I guess so. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see during spring training games as he gets in there. So, but look, he's certainly among the guys right now competing for those rotation spots. Yeah, I mean, he's right there at the top of the list, and I think deservedly so based on what he did for a good portion of last year.
Talking with Sam Levitt, the voice of Padres pre- and post-game. He is known as Spring Training Sammy. Daily appearances on Ben and Woods 3 times a week here with us on Annie and Elsten. Gwen and Chris, they'll get him as they desire. I don't know what they'll do with you, but that's our usage rate for you, for you, Sammy. That's how we're going to play it out. You know, I guess I'll just ask a follow-up, which is, who the heck's going to catch that knuckleball? Because Campy, Campy's not on the list.
Yeah, it's a great question, Craig, and it is something that should be asked of Mike Shilt at some point, and maybe that's something I'll ask tomorrow. It didn't get asked today. That's a really good question, and I think something that, as we talk about Matt Waldron, as maybe the reality of him being in this rotation at the start of the year, is something the Padres are going to have to consider, right? Making sure there's somebody on the roster as far as a catcher who can catch that knuckleball, because Kyle Higashioka isn't here anymore. So, look, I don't know, and, I talked to Elias Diaz today. Admittedly, I didn't ask him this, but I will at some point. I don't know his level of experience of catching a knuckleball. Look, I don't even know Martin Maldonado, who's here, his level of experience catching a knuckleball, or, Brett Sullivan. I would, without looking, I would imagine has worked with Waldron before. So we'll see. But, Craig, it's a very, very fair question when we talk about Matt Waldron, because if he's going to be in your rotation, you got to have somebody catch him, and Kyle Higashioka was that guy, and he's not here anymore. So it's a fair question, and I think a question I'll look to get an answer to here in the next handful of days.
How big do you think that this spring is for Luis Campisano, Sammy?
Yeah, I think it's really important, Annie. Look, it's no secret. I think, we all understand that Luis had a tougher year last year after, I thought an end of 2023 that was so encouraging. And then both offensively and defensively, he didn't pick up right where he left off in 2024. So, look, he's still, when you just look at the roster and the depth chart, I mean, to me, he's still got an exceptional chance to make this team and a chance to prove himself and turn heads here at spring training. We'll see. I think it continues to be a really important spring, just like last year was, and I think it's still in for Luis in a prove-it mode. So it's an important spring, Annie, no doubt about it. And look, there are guys that are probably knocking on the door of that second catcher spot, whether you want to talk about a Brett Sullivan or you want to talk about having Martin Maldonado, a real veteran here, who obviously has struggled offensively, but from a just veteran standpoint, is somebody who's been around there and done that. So it's, I think, no doubt, Annie, a really important spring, and it's something to keep an eye on with Luis.
All right, last thing for today, Sammy. Who's not there right now? Who's waiting to check in? Who are you waiting to see between here and Monday?
Well, yeah, I'm hesitant to say with 100% certainty who's not here, because just because I haven't seen them doesn't mean they're not here, right?
Fair enough.
Well, no, because I'll give you an example. I'll give you a good example. I did not see Xander Bogaerts today until about 1:30 p.m. when he was out taking BP, right? And keep in mind, this is the very early part of spring training, and there's nothing formally for the position players to partake in. So, they're doing their work, I think, on their own schedule, and probably don't need to be here at 9 a.m. to get the work in. So I can tell you again who I saw position player-wise: Bogaerts, Cronenworth, Wade stood out. I haven't seen Manny or Jackson Merrill, or, I could go through a list of guys. So I'm not going to say with 100% certainty who's here and who's not. I can tell you who I did see. And by the way, guys hit in the cage, just because I didn't see them today doesn't mean they aren't somewhere on the premises. So I'm hesitant to, to put anything out there that could become they're not here on the first day of pitchers and catchers, but they are, because I think we all understand that typically gets a little blown out of proportion. But I can tell you who was here, and that's pretty much my list at this point.
You're our eyes and ears, Sam. You are our connection to Peoria. So we appreciate everything that you do, brother, and we look forward to chatting to you on Friday's show as well.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah, I'll give you one more name to just keep an eye on, who really impressed me on the backfields today, Eduardo Nunez. Thought the stuffer looked really good, and I thought Braden Nitt on the backfield, pretty highly ranked prospect, also looked very, very good.
Nice.
So keep an eye on those two guys.
Appreciate you, Sam. Have a great night tonight on Bell Road, and we'll talk to you Friday.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Sammy.
There goes Sam Levitt. Spring training, Sammy. Nothing like it. We got
Yeah.
the Daily Shilt back. We got Spring training, Sammy back.
They are on. It is back on.
It's on, baby.
All of it. Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, 3 a.m. at 7 Mile Casino for. Oh, no, wait.
No,
wait.
yeah.
Hang
Don't
on.
have to do that
Don't
this
even
year.
have
Not this year, right.
All
Unless you're
right.
watching two other teams.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
No chance.
110
No
start.
chance.
March 27th. Here we go.
Zero chance
Opening
on
day.
that. All right, let's take a time out. We're going to get Colin all lined up. Thanks for hanging in there, Colin,
Yeah.
today's biggest fan.
Thanks for calling, Colin.
Hey, Colin, indeed. When we return, a grab bag of a couple of things that we haven't gotten to today, including this bold statement. Let me see if I can back it up after the break. PGA Tour does not have to merge with Live Golf. They don't have to. There's no reason to do it. In fact, you'd be lowering yourself to do it. Why? I got a stat that I think backs it up. When we come back, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. One more reminder about the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest. It's your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. And all you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log into it, and then listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour. That will earn you your daily entry into this national contest. Grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus 20,000 cash. So good luck. Log in, 1 hour, Odyssey app, daily entry. By the way, 2 hours, 1 daily entry. 7 hours, 1 daily entry. So don't think you're gaming the system by like leaving it on at your house and then walking away for the day.
But way to try. Well, we want you to listen all day.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'm sure there's a handful of people that have woken up on the wrong side of a truck bed in Vegas before. That song worked out for that reason.
Indeed. Okay. This isn't a Rindle report, but it is kind of like a couple of things that we didn't get to yet today.
Scrabistan does that. He does a TMZ report in the show.
Does he really?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's phenomenal. He just like started reading stories and then asking my opinions on them, and I was like, "Well, that sounds bad. I don't know what to tell you."
So the Genesis Invitational is here in town, and all you have to do is look out your window to understand that, you know,
it ain't pretty.
Yeah, bad draw.
Not great, Bob.
Bad draw for the golfers. Today's practice round sucks. It's nothing but boggy rain. It's supposed to get worse overnight. I had read some reports of hard rain tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure.
Really hard outside.
It's raining.
I gotta find that. That was so funny. It's crazy. I might ask him if he's got it. I'm sure he's got it.
He's got to know where it is.
Because
No
he's a racer.
doubt.
He knows where the body's buried with that one. Great.
It's a signature event, and hopefully we'll get blue skies by Sunday. And if we do, that means that CBS will get a great final rating for the final round when you've got all the best golfers in the world.
Everything will smell all fresh and look all dewy and pretty.
Yes.
You'll look fine in your ball.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
Good thing they have spotters for that.
Otherwise, I'd be doomed. Everyone would be doomed. So I would expect the Genesis final round to get a nice, solid television rating. Last weekend, a little bit of a moment for professional golf. And I want to state right off the top, I recognize the ways in which this number is deceptive. They are in the following ways. The WM Phoenix Open final round aired on CBS television last weekend in the time slot leading up to the Super Bowl. Now it wasn't the same network; it was Fox instead of CBS instead of Fox. But nonetheless, for people who are waiting for the Super Bowl, that was a good tournament. And it was a great opportunity to tune in. So you're going to get higher ratings leading it being like the one sporting event that's leading up to the Super Bowl than you would on a regular weekend. But nonetheless. Oh, and Live Golf Tour was in Saudi Arabia. They were playing during a time period that was in U.S. regular viewing time. It was at nighttime in Riyadh. But nonetheless, they played Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Of course, they have 3-day tournaments instead of 4-day tournaments, and they tried to skip the Super Bowl window, so they started a night earlier. Okay, those are your disclaimers.
Mm-hmm.
The PGA out TV rated Live 50-1. 50-1.
That's a lot.
It's not what you're looking for if you've spent money, $500 million to bring John Rahm and to bring Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau and Cam Smith, et cetera, right? All the golfers who have taken the money, Phil, et cetera, to go to Live Golf. The idea 3 years ago was that Live Golf was going to be the ultimate disruptor. It was going to step in. It's livelier, it's team golf, it's 3 rounds instead of 4, it's rock and roll music, and because of all of the Saudi sports-washed billions, they can recruit the very, very best players in all of golf, Dustin Johnson, so on and so forth, and that is going to lead to a critical mass that's going to hit the PGA Tour. PGA doesn't have their stars anymore. It's going to wilt. Live is going to grow. And then they're going to have to merge. They're going to be forced into a merge, and it's going to be a merge that cripples the PGA. And it's going to be, furthermore, and most important of all to the Saudis, it's going to be a merge that legitimizes the Live Golf Tour as something that's right there, 1-to-1, even with the PGA Tour. 50 times. PGA Tour averaged 2.87 million viewers for its final round. Live Golf averaged 50,000.
Yikes.
My question is, what are the ratings for PGA now with Live Golf compared to when there wasn't Live Golf? Have their ratings gone down, or have they gone up?
All ratings, other than Super Bowl ratings, have generally gone down at least a little bit, thanks to the stratification of everything. So maybe it went down a little, but what's Live doing?
Hasn't this been in the works for forever? Are they
Forever.
really going to merge?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They probably just want the golfers back.
For 2 years, there was this assumption that it had to happen, that these two things were hurting one another. You know, kind of like I think I brought it up a year ago when we talked about it, when the IndyCar circuits split, and instead of having one, there were two. And then all of a sudden, each one is doing half the rating of the other, and each one is poaching people from the other, and it hurts. And then they merged back into one, and then they found their footing again. That's what Liv was hoping for. But you don't have to do anything if you're the PGA Tour. If Live Golf is simply anonymous, if it's drawing the same kind of ratings as a college golf tournament or a pickleball tournament or anything else.
Just let them be.
Right. And hey, that turns it to me, Annie, into a really straightforward choice. You're a great golfer. Now, let's just say you're Rory or you're Colin Morikawa. Maybe 3 years ago for Colin Morikawa, it was maybe a really tough decision. Do I take this unsightly, ungodly amount of money, $300 million, $700 million, and play on Live, but maybe I'm not getting the access to the majors anymore, but who knows? Maybe Live grows into something. Maybe I'm on the front edge of something. Well, now it's straightforward. Do you want to be one of the best golfers in the world, or do you want to get paid to play in anonymity the rest of your life? No one watches you play. No one will know what you do, anything except for 4 majors a year, if you qualify for that. But otherwise, play be anonymous. No one knows you, but you get all the money in the world, or still get a ton of money, but play with the best players and play for the biggest prizes.
Are the best golfers choosing to go to Live still, or has that died down? Or are you still seeing them go to Live?
It's died down.
Reg?
It's died down. And I think, the Saudis have put in all of these billions of dollars into these individual golfers, and what they have learned is that it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. You can put Dustin Johnson and John Rahm in a field with a bunch of other who's that's, and put it on the USA Network or put it on Fox Sports 1, which is where it was this weekend, and no one's going to watch. No one gives a hoot. No one cares. People care about majors, they care about signature events, and they care about seeing all the best players together. And now, as Braden said, I think quite correctly, it's no longer about, this is an existential threat to our business. It's more about, do we really need to rope back John Rahm? Do we really need to rope back Dustin Johnson? Specifically, these individuals, these human beings? Do we need them for our brand? Or can they just chill over here and we're going to chill over there? I feel like we've gotten to that point. When you're at 50-1 TV ratings, Annie, why do you need to merge?
Yeah, it feels like you don't need them. I don't know what else is lurking around the corner, I guess, that, is going to be detrimental to PGA, but seems like you don't. If you're having success, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I really think this was all designed as an inroad for Saudi sports washing of money going to bigger leagues. Hey, maybe I'll buy an NFL team. Maybe I'll buy a MLS team. Maybe I'll buy an NBA team. But so far what's happened, I don't think that's led anywhere in that direction. And honestly, now it just looks like kind of a pointless disruptor, Live Golf. It's just okay, well, you gave these guys this money. No one cares. See ya.
I didn't even know it's on. But I don't watch the PGA Tour too much either. I just watch it when they're on the West Coast. I will say, my draw to the PGA is less that they don't have all these guys in anymore. So I don't think I don't think PGA should be going like, well, we're kicking their ass, because they should. I think they should be looking at, are they hurting our bottom line and preventing us from growing? And if that's the case, then we got to merge. Not, are we kicking their ass? Because they're obviously they're just traditionally people are going to like tune into the PGA. They get better TV contracts and all that other stuff. But if Liv gets to a point where you're not growing and you're staying the same or plateauing or starting to go down as a business model, you're still technically winning, but at the same time you're not, because you're trying to improve yourself. So from that, if it gets to that point, I think the PGA would be wise to try to get some of these guys back. But the thing is, with all these leagues, you need money to back it, to try to convince players to play, and then you have to wait some years to try to build. But I don't necessarily know what Live Golf is doing to build their brand. I don't know I don't know what station they're on. I don't see any advertised for it. We heard about it when it first came out, and it was like, hey, look at this new thing. But now it's like, I don't know where they play. I don't know where their tournaments are. They're not. I think a lot of it, too, of them being international, I don't think a lot of people care that they're playing in all these different places throughout the world.
Yeah.
Where if they played only in the United States, I think people would be more inclined to do it. If they had their own tour in the United States where they were going to some of the same courses that the PGA goes to, now they'd have to make those deals. I would be more inclined to check it out. Like if they came to Torrey, I'd be like, okay, let's see what they're all about. But the fact that they only play, how many events they have? Like 8?
Yeah, maybe 12. I don't know.
I mean, they don't have too many events. They're all over the world. They're random.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what channel they're on. It's not every single week like the PGA. They are not doing anything to really promote their product. So until they start doing that, it's just they're just going to be a rudderless ship out there with a bunch of big names.
Well, and Martin just put a good note in the chat, which is the PGA made their reaction to Live Golf, which was to create the signature events, such as the one that is being played this weekend, Genesis Invitational, to create bigger prize purses, to create the incentive to, hey, stick around here. You're still going to make money, big money, by being on the PGA Tour, but you're also going to have legitimacy. But I'm thinking that we're a year away from Live ending. And I'll just give you an example. John Rahm 2 years ago signed a 3-year, $300 million deal to play Live Golf. He's already complained 2 years in. He's felt like he's lost his world ranking. He's lost his sharpness by playing on Live. He was calling for Live to go to 4 days because he's losing when he's going from 3-day tournaments to 4-day tournaments. He's seeing the performance change when he puts the 4th day back in. I think John Rahm finishes his contract and he goes right back to the PGA and says, hey, I made my $300 million. Now I get to go back and play the best tour, regain my notoriety, regain my world standing, and stop being anonymous except for 4 weekends a year at the majors. And
the fact that John is like surprised by this is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That's the deal you made, dude.
Right.
I sat there, I defended every golfer that made the decision. They're making a family decision personally for them. And that's totally fine, because everybody else in this room would probably do the exact same thing if we're talking about our industry. But at the same time, when you sign up for the money and then, I'm not getting notoriety anymore. You took $300 million, dude. Right. Who cares about your notoriety? You made your decision. It's about the money more than your fame, more than your golf ranking. If you cared about that, you would take less money to play for the PGA. But no, it was about money for you, which is fine. I think that's a fair decision to make. But don't come complaining like, oh, this does not set me up for a world. You're dumb, dude. That's just a dumb statement. That's a foul on John Rahm for being dumb.
He draws the foul.
There you go, John. All the way in Spain, you're still picking up fouls.
Arizona State guy.
Along the way.
Can't escape.
Let's take our last break. It's time to open up the phone lines to ask us anything. 833-288-0973 is our phone number. Really been enjoying the momentum we've been getting with great calls, multiple calls in the segment, so let's keep it rolling today. 833-288-0973. You've got 12 minutes to call the show. If you call between here and 1:50, we're going to get you on the air. All we ask is that you have a question ready to ask the program. Ask Us Anything wraps up Annie and Elsten after this quick timeout on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. FC update for you. We'll be trying to get some boys on between here next Sunday, guys. Next Sunday.
I missed the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
At LA Galaxy. Next Sunday.
R.I.P. Tampa Bay Mutiny.
Not R.I.P. Ask us anything. Let's play the bumper. Update from Coachella Valley. 1-0 Portland.
Exhibition games.
Yeah, they don't matter. They don't
Yeah,
count.
they don't matter. But
They don't matter. They don't count.
Guy was pretty open in the 18 to score. Okay, here we go. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Here's Johnny in San Diego. What's up, Johnny?
Hey guys, what's going on? I got an easy one for you today. What should I get my wife for Valentine's Day?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What is she like?
Flowers are always good.
Is she someone who is Johnny? Let me ask you: is she someone who is going to respond to the flowers and the chocolates as if that was a great effort by you, or is she someone who is going to look at that as a C effort by you?
C effort. At least it's an effort, though.
C effort. Okay.
These guys don't even do that.
What are you guys gonna do?
I have a date with TCU baseball on Friday, so
There you go.
I'm not getting them anything.
I'm not a Valentine's Day girl. I just don't.
That says every
Listen,
girl
Johnny, do
ever.
not go spend money on overpriced flowers and chocolate. Get her something like that she likes that's like personal to her and call it a day, like her favorite snacks or something. Well, unless you have to do something like really over the top, and then I'm not sure what to tell you. Go take her somewhere, I guess. A little staycation, although it's going to rain in San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of late on the staycation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Should have made those plans a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's fine. That's fine.
yeah, Johnny, in my personal history, and
Take her to Costco.
Yeah, your mileage may vary. Obviously,
whatever she
everyone's
wants.
different. Everyone's
I'm in
relationship.
trouble.
Yeah, your host, dude. Sorry about it.
Take her to Costco and go to the food court there. $1.50.
Great cookie.
Then
If she
take
likes
her-
chocolate
then let her
cookies.
get whatever she
bake,
wants.
pizza.
Right. That's right. She can get the whole menu.
Bro.
And
we're
any
onto
drink you
something.
want,
That's
huh?
Plus,
right.
Any
there's,
drink
there's
you want.
nice outdoor seating.
Are
What's
they-
that called in the
The patio seating?
The
what's
food
that called?
court?
No,
Food
no. When
court?
you're outside eating, you're al fresco. You're eating al fresco.
Yeah, take her to Parkway Plaza. Why not?
Take her to Parkway Plaza.
This
There's
is
a
great.
Victoria's Secret in Parkway Plaza. Take her in there.
Wow.
Wow, okay.
Don't do that,
That
Johnny.
escalated very quickly.
Just do
Hang
not
up on
do
me.
that. Do not do that.
All right, well, we didn't help him out at all.
Not at all, but good
No,
question
Annie did that
nonetheless.
for get her something that means something to her.
Get her something that's
That's
like
it.
personal
Yeah.
to her.
You know
that,
her
like
better than
like
we
an
do.
inside joke or something nice that she likes, right?
Or just pay attention. You know, like that's what I've learned is that attention matters. Just being attentive.
Just put in effort.
Being present
Just-
and attentive.
Just put in effort.
That might be good.
I would probably V-Day. I'd V-Day inside, like, Netflix and chill style.
Well, it's raining outside, so
that makes sense.
He draws the foul.
Absolutely a foul on Annie there. Here's Charlie in La Mesa. Hi, Charlie. Ask us anything.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What up?
I got another easy one for you guys
All right.
here, and it seems like it makes when I ask this people, it makes them give you a look. But Democrat or Republican?
That's a foul.
Foul
No
on
politics
you,
on a
Charlie.
sports show.
Foul on you, Charlie.
Charlie.
We're declined to state, okay? Here's Alex in Fallbrook. Hi, Alex. Ask us anything except that. Ask us anything.
Good afternoon on this rainy day, guys. A little difficult question for you. Where can we see the Padres this season on TV?
Same place as before.
Same place.
Yeah, so
MLB TV?
Yeah, MLB TV, Padres TV, subscription model. Now, do you have, are you a cable person? Because, like, whatever cables...
No.
Okay, then same way as before, the $100 subscription, and you're in
Okay.
for the year.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Appreciate you, Alex.
That's
Thank you
three
for calling.
great chats in a row. Annie doesn't like Valentine's Day, but apparently means business.
I mean, I'm trying to help him out. I'm trying to help Johnny out.
LOL, Netflix and chill. Wow. Netflix, ... In this economy? Nate, put the fries in the bag, Chuck.
Yeah, definitely.
What a
Maybe more
groove.
like Prime Video, like the ones that you get with your account.
Yeah.
Like the movies that you get that just come along with your
You can
Prime
watch like
Video. Your Prime account.
3 to 5 minute of ads in between.
Oh, is that what it is?
You have to do that. Yeah.
I heard that Valentine's Day is the perfect day to watch Glengarry Glen Ross.
I think so too. Just the opening scene. You don't have to see anything else.
Time on Valentine's Day, I will.
If the Toreros aren't wearing pink hats, I'm going to be upset.
It's Valentine's Day weekend, so that means.
Oh, it's the weekend thing. What is this, a woman's birthday too? Like the whole week? Weekend.
I look forward to being on my deathbed, hooked into various machines.
Oh my God, we're going real dark here.
You're looking forward to this?
At this point, yes, based on the last couple questions. And then just saying, Annie, any last words? She goes, it's on the list.
Still the top of the list.
Might get, tippity top of the list.
Tippity top.
Might get there this weekend.
You're definitely not getting there this weekend.
No chance.
We got to give her incentive to do this. Incentivize it.
Yeah, obviously, teasing is not working.
No.
As a strategy. That is gone.
I don't respond to peer pressure.
Rod, foul.
Clearly.
Foul on Rod.
Oh my gosh, Rod, yeah.
Jeez, Rod.
Rod's talking about a side chick.
Hanging out with Donald Duck that day, Rod?
What's going on, Rod? I thought that the day after was Galentine's Day. I thought
that's been going.
You
that's
definitely
like
do a Galentine's Day. That's probably why I also can't watch Glengarry Glen Ross.
Right,
but,
of course.
Obviously,
all your Galentine's Day commitments are definitely weighing you down.
You could do a
that
Galentine's Day dinner. If you don't have a date, but
I feel like that's been going on the last 2 weeks. I feel
Valentine's
it's almost
Day
like a
puts
Friendsgiving now.
Unnecessary pressure to spend money and be coupled and whatever on people. Don't fall for it, chicks.
Don't fall for it.
Fall for it. They're the ones that they push it.
They're like, oh, I have to have something to do on Valentine's Day. No, you don't.
Yeah, go watch TCU play USD.
There you go. Here's Martin and Santee. Hi, Martin. Wrap us up. Ask us anything.
This is going to get us back to sports. So,
thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
What are you looking most forward to kind of getting out of spring training? Personally, a person, player, Seidler stuff. What's going to kind of drive spring training for you?
I like that question, Martin. Great way to wrap up the show. Well, okay, I'll answer. Leo DeVries. I'm curious to see how he plays in big league spring training games. I'll throw Salas in there too. I really want to see how those two kids play. I'm really curious to see what type of gains they make and what type of impressions they make.
I think I just want to know who the rotation is. I hope we find that out eventually. I guess I want to know who are your members in the rotation. Definitively.
I just want regular baseball games to start. This is like the fake. You know what this is? This is the false spring. Spring training's like the false spring, where you get the couple of days of sunshine in February, and you're like, oh, spring and summer's here, but it's not, and this thing just drags on for 6 weeks. I'm already ready for the 6 weeks of spring training to be over with, so we can actually talk about meaningful games.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Shilt set the tone today. I mean, we're getting 6 weeks of that, and then question marks, and then the same reports every single day. Hey, well, he threw a pen. What else are they doing out there? Over analyzing at bats in spring training games that mean nothing.
Everyone looks great in spring training.
I mean, Austin Hedges looked like an all-star the first game of spring training every year. Go 3 for 4, 2 bombs. He's finally here.
Yeah, proclaiming that all of our individual players won the offseason. That I'm going to take that away and just hold it close to my heart tonight.
Oh, you know what? I think everybody being healthy.
Yeah,
that's my
good.
answer. Yep.
Great answer. It's actually that's the objectively correct answer.
Ending spring training, full squad healthy.
Yeah. Skating from here to there.
Yeah. Not caring about the results.
1-0 Portland, 23rd minute in Indio. I'm sure Chris Ella will have an update for you right after this commercial break.
Don't bet on it.
I am not going to bet on it. We will be back tomorrow, Thursday, with four more hours with you. But that's it for today. For Annie and Braden, I'm Craig. See ya.
Bye.